In November 2001, co-workers of vibrant 43-year-old Diane Holik called police and requested a welfare check after she had failed to show up to work. When police entered her Austin, Texas home, they found Diane's lifeless body in an upstairs bedroom. She had ligature marks around her neck and her expensive engagement ring was missing. Co-workers told investigators Diane had been in the process of selling her home so she could move in with her fiancé in Houston. One co-worker revealed that Diane had excitedly told her over the phone the previous day that a potential buyer had come to look at the house and had arranged to return later with his wife. One of Diane's neighbors told police they had seen a brown or gold van parked in Diane's driveway the previous afternoon. They had assumed it was a potential buyer for the home. Detectives discovered other home sellers in the area had been visited by a suspicious man driving a brown or gold van over the previous few months. One seller had been so unnerved that they had taken down the license plate. Police traced the plate to Patrick Tony Russo, a part-time music minister at a local church and singer in a Christian rock band. Russo was also a convicted criminal who'd spent 8 years in prison for several attacks on women. Detectives hauled Russo down to the station for questioning.
Okay, well, like we told you on the way over here, you're not under arrest, okay?
I am curious, so, well, why someone would be knocking on my door this early in the morning, it's got to be
But
pretty
you understand,
serious.
we asked you to come down here, and you
Yes, I
voluntarily
did.
came down here, and we told you you're not under arrest.
Correct.
You're free to leave anytime you want to leave.
I will be happy to do whatever it takes to do whatever you guys need. So I don't have any problem with it at all.
Okay.
This has to do with an incident that happened here in Austin, in Northwest Austin. Some things are missing, and we're trying to account for them. And what we'd like to do is, I brought a calendar of November. If you can tell us, let's see, what are we right now?
21st.
21st. We're right here. If you could start maybe the 12th and go through and tell us what you remember, where you were and what you did each of those days.
The 12th. Boy, I should have brought my organizer, because I have a lot of stuff I do all over the place all the time. That would be a week ago this past Monday, correct?
Correct.
Wow. Monday, I could be, this can vary from day to day because I'm not sure what days I have my vehicle. We've had problems with this Ford van that we bought. It's been recalled. I don't know how many times we've had it down there for problems, but I know in the past 2 weeks we've had it in the shop a number of times.
Down where?
At the Ford dealer, Monday Ford. We passed it coming.
In Bastrop?
Yes.
Okay.
It was possible that I either took it down or called down there. So I know I spent some time probably at the Ford dealer, either that Monday or Tuesday. Most of that day was spent probably either at church or at my house. And then I had a staff meeting that night on that Monday. I'm giving a real rough estimates here. So
Okay. That's fine.
without my organizer, I really couldn't tell you exact pinpoints. Tuesday, wow, I might have, this has really caught me off guard. I apologize. I'm just,
Okay, take your time.
I might have worked on my fence part of that day. Spend time at the church. Usually either planning out stuff for our next event or whatever we have going on. trying to think if I made any trips up here at all. Not a lot happened in probably Monday or Tuesday. That's usually my slowest day. If I can think of anything, I will definitely tell you. If I have, like I said, if I have my organizer, I can tell you a lot easier what I've done and what I haven't. Wednesday, I don't remember if I bought parts. I might have went out. I think I went to Walmart or something to get parts. We're putting in a sink or something in we're moving some youth around and putting them in a bigger room. And it's possible I bought some parts on that day for plumbing for the sinks that we're actually putting in the other room. We had church that night.
On Wednesday night?
Correct.
What time did church start?
Church starts at 7, but I get there a lot earlier than that. I get there sometimes 5:30 or 6. It just depends on, some, like, my wife sings on the praise team with me, and my oldest boy's girlfriend happens to be the pastor's daughter. So, we usually go down there, we let them spend time together and work on whatever we're going to work on. And that we probably got there about 6 that night or a little before. Me and the gentleman that plays bass for us, who also plays in my band, he's on my praise team. So we get together usually before church and practice. So I would say it was probably about 6 o'clock, give or take. It might have been 5:30 that day. I'm not really sure. Sometimes we show up as early as we can, and it depends on how much time I already spent down there, whether I want to be down there. Half-hour difference can make all the difference in the world. So, and I remember the church services ending just a little after 8. We usually get home about 8:30 after we say goodbye to everybody. So Thursday, that was that big storm day, wasn't it? Okay, that is not a problem. Thursday, I spent some time at the church again. I went to go to KNLE here in Austin.
Where's that at?
That's off of, I'm going by landmarks. I don't really know the streets that well out here. It's off of 183, and I think it's Knoll. I go by this big blue water tank that's out there, and if I go past it, I know that I passed up the.
Is it the big water tank?
There's a huge, kind of almost flat-looking water tank out there by KNLE. Went over
where all that construction's going on the road?
I don't know. I don't go that far up. I just know that I use that as my guide to when I need to get off the freeway.
Oak Knoll, does that sound familiar?
That might be it.
Oak Knoll.
It's definitely Knoll. I remember Knoll.
Okay.
So, and I exit there, and that just a little bit up on the excess road is KNLE Radio.
Okay. About what time was that?
I think it was about, let's see, I talked to my wife. I was pulling in the parking lot, so that would have been about 4 o'clock, I believe. Anyhow, I went to, sometimes they answer the door, sometimes they don't. I was up there to take care of we we have a website that we've been trying to get up for about 4 months, and I have spent so much time with them trying to get it up. So I went up there to try to see about getting that up since we got all the information that they needed. And when no one came to the door, I went ahead and left. And I say it was probably just starting to pour down about that time, a little after that, somewhere around there. And traffic started building up. I got lost for probably a good hour or so. I got on the phone with my wife. She stayed on the phone with me. It started getting later. That's when the heavy winds started coming and the tornadoes, I guess. Well, my wife was on the phone with me for about an hour trying to guide me through where I needed to go so that I could make it without getting in too much of
Where'd you get lost at?
I have no idea where I was at. I was up and down streets trying to.
Was it in the business section or?
Some of it was business, some of it was residential, some of it was, it was real hard to see the signs when that rain was pouring down. I could be parked at a stop sign and not know what the sign said. All I remember is getting on the phone with my wife and trying to find out what was going on, where the tornadoes were, how to get through the traffic. Finally got out and hit the highway again and ended up right back where I started. And actually I'd come out and I hit 183 again. I thought I was on the right track going home, and I'm telling my wife I'm almost at 290 and I'm on this one side of the road on 183. The traffic was, no one was on the freeway. Everybody was on the excess road, and I kept trying to go through down that for probably a good. Traffic was really, really terrible that night. Probably about 30 minutes or so, and then I realized that I was right next to KNLE again, and so I had to go back out, and I couldn't make the turnover because I was in the right lane, and I made a right-hand turn and made an illegal U-turn. There was the only way you could get around everybody, and then I went back out and got on the highway going back towards Bastrop, and I would say probably took me about another 50 minutes to get home, when it normally was a little bit quicker than that. The traffic wasn't the same going that direction as it was coming up.
So what time did you get home? Finally.
My wife's better at the timing on this than I am. 5:30, I guess, or 6, somewhere. I'm not really sure exactly the time frame. I know I was on the phone with my wife the entire time going all the way home. It was just, so she'd probably have a better idea, but that's a rough estimate.
And you were using this phone right here? Who did you talk to over at KNLE?
Actually, I didn't talk to anybody because nobody answered the door. There's times when they're doing their promotionals and
so you made the trip up there for nothing, basically.
Pretty much.
I mean, you didn't call ahead and say you were coming, and
no. Actually, I spoke to somebody. I forget the gentleman's name. They have a number of people. Well, here's the deal. They have a website, and on this thing that they're advertising, you can host your own website. And we had another one that we were having problems with. We switched over, but we couldn't get our domain name over to the new website. For months, we were talking to different people from KNLE, and KNLE also has people that are part of their web thing, but they work out of KNLE, but they don't work for KNLE. I assume that because every time I have talked to somebody, it's, well, we'll call him and he'll call you, and we do that thing quite a bit. And so I went ahead and it got to a point where I was pretty frustrated, and I had my bass player handling the thing for a little while, and he was getting nowhere. We went through the trouble of getting a registry number and all this stuff, and so I went ahead and told him I was going to make a trip up there and see if we can sit down at their computer like we did once before and see if they can do it from that standpoint, because trying to do it over the phone isn't working. They tell me something's supposed to work and it doesn't work, and I can't understand why it's not. So I went ahead and figured that they can go ahead and help us that way. So that's what the trip was going up there for. I've only been up there twice when they didn't answer the door, and so I don't make a big deal out of it. I know that they're kind of, they're a nonprofit business, so they don't have like a bunch of people working for them. They can just, they usually keep their door locked, probably 99% of the time. It's not like you can just walk in and a receptionist is there.
When you got lost out there in the residential area, did you ever stop to talk to anybody or ask directions, or did you ever get out of your let's see, were you in your van or were you in the Blazer or the Jeep?
Jeep. No, I believe I was in the van that day.
Okay.
And did you ever stop to get out to talk to anybody?
I believe well, let's see, I spoke to 2 people in cars that were going by, and I knocked on someone's door asking for directions, and there was everybody's directions didn't help because you couldn't read the signs. So
when you say someone's door, was that a residential door or was that a business door?
No, it was a residential door.
Do you remember what that person looked like?
No, I have no clue.
Did you pull in the driveway?
No, I was parked
On
down
the
front.
street?
Yes, sir.
And you walked up to the door and knocked on it, and
Well, it was the only door with lights on, so I did knock on the door, correct.
and someone came to the door.
Yes.
Was it a male or female?
It was a male.
Was it a young person, middle-aged, old?
No, probably didn't pay much attention. Probably 60s, something like that. I mean, gray hair.
What was the conversation about?
I just asked the gentleman that if he could help me get out. I was pretty much lost, and his residence happened to be the only one that was pretty well lit up, and I asked him if he could lead me out, and he was telling me go up to the first street and make a left, and because I told him I couldn't read the signs, so I needed some kind of other way of getting out of there, and it was just sheets of rain were coming down, so I really, I was trying to
get wet pretty much.
I think my whole body probably got wet.
Did you notice whether you were near a park or?
I couldn't even see the signs in front of me, so I couldn't tell you if there was a park nearby or not, honestly. I could park at a stop. It didn't even have to be a stop, any street, and I could be sitting there parked and I could not see the signs. And I parked for a little bit trying to wait for rain to stop, and the rain just kept getting worse and worse, so I knew that wasn't going to help.
Besides this old man, did you stop at another house and maybe get invited inside?
No.
Let me ask you something, Tony.
Sure.
On the way up here, you told me you were a Christian and you found Christ while you were in prison.
Correct.
Okay, and that was about 10, 11 years ago, maybe 12 years ago. Let me ask you a question as a Christian. Okay. Being a Christian, being saved by Christ's blood.
All right.
Okay. His death, his resurrection on the cross, his ascension into heaven. Okay. All of that. If you go out in the car and you speed 120 miles an hour, do you think you're exempt from getting stopped and getting a ticket? Because you're a believer?
No.
Okay. Well, what do you think would happen to you if you got stopped?
Probably get a ticket.
You'd stop and get a ticket because you did something wrong.
Right.
You know, the fact that you're a Christian doesn't mean that you still have to suffer the consequences of your actions while you're still here on earth.
Right. You
Okay?
do.
You do. I mean, we still sin.
Right.
Okay? And because we sin, we still have to suffer the consequences of our actions. And you're forgiven. I mean, that's what Scripture says. You're forgiven. But here on earth, you still have to pay the consequences of your actions, whether it's illegal,
Right.
whether it's speeding, stealing, or doing something worse than that. Okay.
Okay.
We asked you to be truthful with us. Okay. And I think you know why we're asking you. Okay. I want to ask you a little bit more about Thursday. You know, you talked about going to KNLE, and no one was there to tell us that you were there. Okay. And then you talk about driving around and getting back on 183, and now you're telling us about maybe stopping at a residential area and talking to a gray-haired man. Is there any other places that you stopped while you were in this neighborhood?
No.
You didn't stop to talk to anybody else?
No.
And then you got back on 183 and you went home?
Well, it wasn't that simple.
Well, I mean, other than,
base.
but when you finally got back to 183, you talked to your wife the whole way and you headed back to Bastrop, back to your house.
Well, I talked to her before I got to 183,
Okay.
but yes.
What did you do the next day?
Friday. Spend time at church like I normally do. I think I went down to my wife's school for a little bit. I do spend time at her school sometimes. I don't believe we did a whole lot of anything that day. I think I pretty much didn't do a whole lot. I don't think there was a whole lot going on that day. Usually Fridays can be fairly slow too. Depends on if we have anything going on or not. I think I might have went to go down to the church in the evening or something. Or not in the evening, but like afternoon or something, just to get some things because we had a special event on Sunday. So we had a stage, puppet stage, and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know where it's at?
Mm-hmm.
And this was Friday?
Correct.
And then, sorry? Hold on a minute.
Okay.
Did your van get messed up in that storm at all? Did you get dents from any kind of hail or?
Not that I didn't see anything noticeable, no. I mean, as far as I know, there's no dents on it at all. That doesn't mean there isn't one.
Did you drive in any hail that day?
I don't remember hitting any hail.
Because I think in some parts of Austin, it stormed pretty bad. and it hailed in certain parts of Austin. I know all the electricity here went out, so we were trapped here. Couldn't go anywhere. Some of us, anyway. Some of us made it home, and some of us made it to places they had to go work.
Well, it was raining so hard that if it held, it's possible that I may or may not have been hit with some of it. But as hard as that rain was coming down, it would have been hard to tell if it was hail or rain anyway, unless it was really big stuff. So
I want you to be as honest as you can.
Yeah.
With me.
Yeah.
You remember ever talking to her?
yes, sir.
You never talked to her?
No.
Let me ask you another question.
Sure.
Have you thought the whole drive from Bastrop and the time you've been sitting here? Because, as we're speaking, sometimes we're capable of thinking too. And sometimes we think about the next question we're gonna ask. And then sometimes we think about what's the next question they're gonna ask. So, I'll be ready for an answer.
Okay.
Have you thought at all about how we found you?
I assume it's through my parole officer. I don't have any clue.
Have you changed the license plates on your car at all in the last couple of weeks? So they're visible.
They're visible.
And that type of vans could be noticeable if somebody's paying attention to that kind of van.
I imagine it probably would be. I mean, there's about 150,000 vans just like it. I mean, it's not like, but that particular color and, it looks nice. I imagine it would be noticeable, yeah.
But there's only one Patrick Anthony
Correct.
Russo
That I know of.
Okay. And so if someone was to be able to pick that person out of a lineup and say, this is the person that I saw or that I talked to, and maybe more than one person said that, and you only account for stopping at one location, then we got a problem.
Well, I can tell you this. I'm not lying to you if that's what you're asking.
That's what I'm asking.
I'm not lying to
Plain
you.
and simple. You only stopped at one house.
Correct.
You talked to one man, an older man, and the gist of the conversation was you needed directions to get back to 180.
Correct. I just need directions out of their neighborhood, period.
Okay.
Because I couldn't get out. I didn't know how to get out.
What kind of watch
if someone,
do you have on?
cheap watch,
What's that
Walmart, Armatron or something, $11 watch. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. If someone's been robbed or something, if someone's saying they saw me, they're mistaken. I don't go around robbing people. I'm going to tell you what I've done to get my life in order, okay? I spent my entire 8 years in prison doing nothing but engulfing myself in a better life. I've gotten my GED. I went to college. I studied for theology to become a minister. I was at every unit I was on. I was either choir director or worked for the chaplains. I took counseling while in prison. I took every kind of anger management program because that was my big problem back then was I went through the drug rehabs because I had an old drug habit that really took a toll on me. When I got out, I've done everything from put a book out to try to help inmates and other people get their life in order through Christ. I have been a music minister. I have a ministry that I go into prisons with. I go to churches and share testimony with them on how they can deal with, youth or whatever that are headed in the wrong direction. I handle our youth band, our children's choir. I'm not trying to. If someone's feeding you stuff that's saying that this man is, I'm going to defend myself. Okay,
Right.
I can't account for every single second I've done something. I can't account for everybody that I ever speak to. This is true. But
we're talking about just
Okay.
Thursday, the day of the storm. Yeah,
okay.
you're
Well, I
talking
thought
about-
we were talking about the whole week.
Well,
Now,
no, I mean, right now we're talking about Thursday,
okay.
about you veering off from your getting lost in this neighborhood, and that the only person you talked to that day was a guy you parked in front of, went up, knocked on his door because there was a light on, and you talked to this old man. You never
Correct.
talked to this woman right here.
No,
Okay.
I don't remember seeing her or talking
Her
to her
name is
ever.
Diane. Do you know any Dianes?
No, sir.
No. So you would, so you're saying you've never seen this woman, never been to her house, never been to her doorstep, never been inside her house, never been invited to look around. There would be no reason for anything to come back to say that you were in her house.
No, sir.
You've
I
never,
don't
you've
recall ever seeing her.
Never, okay.
And if she's saying that I've stole something from her, then I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. But I haven't stolen anything from anybody. I worked my tail off for what I have.
And I'm not trying to drudge up old stuff, and I'm not trying to I'm just trying to understand it. Okay. What was the kidnapping about that you spent 8 years?
I had a nervous breakdown while on the job. I had just gotten off of drugs. I thought drugs were my problem. I was trying to seek out a new life, which wasn't really going all that great. I felt like I had just a ton of stuff on me. I didn't know how to deal with it because drugs were my way of dealing with things, and I was trying to stay off of drugs. So it ended up where I had nervous breakdown, and I was just happened to be at a business where I was doing a fire and safety inspection. I was a fire and safety inspector at the time, and I ended up holding the receptionist against her will, and basically I broke down crying and just telling her all my problems, and then I left.
How did you hold her?
I tied her up.
How did you tie her
I forced her. I tied her hands up.
In front of her, back of her?
In back of her.
Okay. What did you tie her with?
I had some tie wraps from my fire extinguisher thing, where I would, put on labels on the fire extinguishers.
Tie wrap. Is that like, what color are they?
They come in different colors. There's no one color.
Is that like something like a electrician would use to keep wires together?
I don't know what.
Are you familiar with the
use.
police profession?
Not real familiar, no.
Do you know what we use when we don't have handcuffs? We have what's called flexicuffs. They're a thicker version of they're white straps that loop around and you can feed it through. And when you feed it through, they lock and you can pull it tighter.
Zip ties?
Kind of like that.
Yeah, kind of like zip ties.
No, it's a different type. It was the kind that have the aluminum thing through them, and but
That's sort of like a zip tie.
well, but they don't zip lock. They have to wind them. But regardless, that was the issue. Was that I just needed someone to talk to. I didn't feel like I had anybody, and I forced her to. I forced her to listen to my problems. And if you guys look into my case, since you've got me here on this, I'm sure that would be something you would probably look into. And you'll see what it says in the case. It'll
Did
tell
you
you.
hurt her?
I believe that anybody that ties anybody up does some damage. Physical damage, no, I didn't hurt her. Emotionally, I probably ruined her life.
I mean, there's no sex.
No, sir.
Anyway.
No.
What was the terroristic threat about?
if terroristic threat, that must have been something a long, long time ago. And I don't remember who I might have made a terroristic threat to. I remember having that somewhere in
This
my.
had to do with the
Not
anger,
that-
the anger that you had back then.
Right. Well, that's why I took anger management and things to deal with stress, period, because I didn't know how to deal with stress. My dealing with stress was take drugs and you'd get away from your problems. And then I was trying to deal with my problems and I didn't know how to do that. And I would blow up. I mean, breakdowns run in my family, but I never thought that I would have a nervous breakdown. And at that time, when I caught that kidnapping charge, I had a nervous breakdown. I had to force someone to listen to what I was going through. And like I said, my file is not hard to find. If you read the file, you'll see that basically, I mean, I'm not trying to make light of it.
Have you been diagnosed as having a disorder, a mental disorder, or do you suffer from periods of blackouts or?
No, I don't suffer from blackouts. The only time that I ever had any kind of counseling done where they did an evaluation was when I got arrested. They wanted to make sure I was okay for court because they do realize that it was a nervous breakdown, but I broke the law, so I needed to do my time for it. They were going to prosecute me. And that's okay. I broke the law. Doesn't matter whether I had control of myself at the time or not. I broke the law. About it was probably more than that. It was probably about 6 years into my prison sentence. I had my attorney paid for a professional therapist to do an evaluation on me, an emotional evaluation. And after all the counseling I had been through and things like that, they said that they felt that I was perfectly capable of, living a normal life, without doing drugs, without losing my cool and stuff like that. And so that's the only time I've ever had any kind of actual.
Were you prescribed medication?
Never.
Are you on medication now?
No.
What about the burglaries? Did you take something from that business?
No, all my offenses have to do with just anger. Either it's assault, or pretty much, the law has. I don't have to tell you guys this. The law has ways of, they pick and choose how they're going to file things in the criminal court. It's going to be under burglary one time. It'll be under assault the next time, or kidnapping, and but all my cases deal with actually, just losing my cool.
Well, a burglary is a property crime.
Well,
an assault is a person crime.
I know, but burglary of a habitation can be an assault through a doorway, and so if there's
somebody in there.
Yes, correct, and
was there somebody in the house when you did the burglary?
Yes. Well, I didn't burglarize the house. I assaulted someone through their doorway. Mm-hmm. And so I got a burglary of a habitation with the intent to commit bodily harm when the burglary had nothing to do with it, because it wasn't a burglary. I was actually looking for a friend of mine. I was looking for a drug fix.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of drugs were you on at the time?
It'd be easier to tell you what I wasn't on.
What was your drug of choice?
Everything. There was no drug of choice. Anything that could get
heroin, cocaine, everything?
No, cocaine, pot, pain pills, hallucinogenics, liquor. I was never preferable to anything. I just, whatever I could get that would take away just dealing with stress and pressure, reality, then I would do it. Mm-hmm.
And did you kick your drug habit only when you went to prison?
No, I kicked the drug habit before I went to prison. I was out on bond. When all this stuff finally collapsed on me and I got that final felony charge. I knew that I needed to do something, and so I didn't wait to go to prison to get off the drugs. I was trying to. Actually, I didn't know I was going to prison. I thought if I'm on bond, and I don't go to prison, then I need to get my act together. So that's what I started doing.
Mm-hmm.
I had help from a friend. Just happens to be a judge out in Brazoria County. It's a good friend of mine.
Okay.
And he's been there the whole time. I mean, I just spoke to him like not too long ago. I'm trying to stay, relaxed about this whole thing, but y'all are starting to grill me pretty hard for stuff, and I don't even have the slightest clue what's going on. But I do know that, I'm trying to be as honest as I can with you guys.
Are you? I mean, are you really?
Yes, I am.
Are you in the market to buy a house?
No.
No. Is there any reason why you'd be in a neighborhood looking for a house?
No.
None whatsoever?
Mm-mm.
Do you think it's a little coincidental that several people said that they saw you in the neighborhood?
I think it has to be coincidental because I haven't been in any neighborhood. So I don't, I mean, it's highly possible. I mean, I have, I can tell you that I've had my wife as one witness, and even my pastor, I'm sure at times will tell you how many, there's people that come and think they know me all the time. I don't know how it is that I have a face that they think they know, unless they've seen me at a concert or something, but I don't know a lot of people that think they know me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, who's saying that they know me or whatever it is you guys are trying to say about whoever, but
I'm not trying to say it.
well, I'm just saying I haven't been in any neighborhood. I haven't robbed anybody, and
I mean, you brought up the rob.
well, no.
I mean, we never said that you robbed
he
anybody.
said that there was some things missing, and I'm just sharing with you. If that's the issue, then you're asking me if I know her and insinuating that she's.
Well, a robbery and a burglary is two different things. Are they not?
Robbery and a burglary are two different things, correct.
Mm-hmm.
If I use the wrong analogy or terminology, I apologize for that. I'm not as technical as you guys are. I'm not caught up in the exact terms. As far as I'm concerned, if you rob someone or take something from someone that didn't belong to you, it's theft, period.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter whether it's robbery or burglary to me. The fact is it's wrong. And so I'm not going to distinguish whether it's a burglary or robbery. If you guys are using that burglary word too, and then, if it's been a burglary, I haven't burglarized anything.
Have you ever pawned anything?
Sure, I have. I've pawned.
Recently?
Yes, sure.
What have you pawned recently?
My guitar. I have a 12-string electric guitar. I pawned at Pawn Shop Easy Pawn.
Where?
In Bastrop. I pawned one of my amps that I haven't used. You don't make a lot of money in the ministry, and when you need money,
mm-hmm.
That's where you would go. And
on the average, what do you make in a year? I mean, do they pay you a yearly salary, or are you paid by the month?
I'm paid by the month, but you can add it up yearly. I make about $800 a month. Okay. My wife is the one that makes all the money in the house right now.
Okay.
I've had job offers to make more money, but I'm not called to do that. I'm called to the ministry, and that's what I do.
So when you go to the church, what do you do there? I mean, you say you're the
Um,
music director. What does that mean? I mean, what
That
is your
means
job at the church where they pay you for?
my job is to make sure that the music for the praise team or any kind of music that's being done for church services is handled, whether I play it or have someone play it. I just arrange all that. For special events like dramas and skits, things for Easter, things for Christmas, stuff like that, I would go ahead and um, pretty much just arrange stuff like that. It consists of a lot of things. I mean, there's things like if someone is just having problems, and they just want to unload, then they come and unload. You help do stuff around the church, like if we're having a banquet or something, then we'll go ahead and set up for a banquet. Things break down, we try to renovate things, expand rooms or something, then I help out with stuff like that. That's pretty much my job.
Are you paid cash or are you paid by check?
By check.
So really, I mean, for the most part, your days are pretty free.
No, they're not pretty free.
You don't work a 9 to 5 at the church every day, though, right?
No, I don't. But I'm constantly working, and that isn't my only ministry. So,
what other ones do you work for?
Well, I have the band, and that is a ministry in itself. I spend a lot of time on the phone, a lot of time on the computer. Stuff that I do, I spend at home. Printing up songs, typing out. Well, I give you an example. We had an event we called the Community Unity Christian Affair, and I was a chairman over the entertainment committee, which consisted of basically setting up the entire entertainment stuff for that event, and that meant I had meetings to go to. I have programs to print up, phone calls to make. Back Chaplain McIntosh for the Travis County Correctional Facility was one of the people that I had down there speaking. There's a lot of things that I do. I may not spend it all at the church building, but I spend a lot of time doing stuff, period, just in general, whether it be at home in my office or at work. I spend time at my wife's work. Sometimes I help her at her classroom. She's a special ed teacher. I don't have a problem with people looking at me because I have this history of stuff. I don't have a problem with that. And
well, you just didn't pick your name out of a phone book.
Well, that may very well be, and that's okay. I understand that.
I mean, there's a lot of people in Austin that are on parole. A lot more in Austin than there are in Bastrop.
That's true.
And we just didn't pick your name out of the phone book.
Tony, what's happened? Okay, Thursday, more than 3, less than 7 different people identified you as coming to their place.
Well, they're mistaken.
And I mean, as far as swearing to an affidavit, they're saying you're the person that came to their house, inquiring about purchasing a residence.
Well, they're mistaken.
And you're saying it wasn't you.
I'm saying it wasn't me.
And you live on Shiloh, right?
I live on Shiloh Road.
What's on 1441?
I don't know.
640 FM 1441. What is that? In Bastrop.
610 FM 14.
640. The address is 640 FM 1441.
I don't know.
It's not another trailer, or you don't have any other property besides the trailer you live at?
Correct.
You don't own any other property?
No.
Okay. So there would be no reason for you to ever list that address. With
Wow.
with the what's the address of the church?
Address of the church is, I believe, 1176 Highway 21, Cedar Creek.
Okay, where is 1441?
I don't know where 1441
You don't know
is.
where that's at all?
No. I've never been there.
You want me to tell you how serious this is?
I would appreciate it because I feel like I'm getting pretty banged here and I don't even know what it's for.
She's dead. I don't know if you noticed when you walked in here, this is the homicide unit. I don't know if you've seen TV tonight, a composite drawing of what looks like you. And then you have a bunch of different people from that neighborhood, including a gray-haired man who says you inquired, he picked you out. And he talked to us about the conversation you had, and it wasn't about directions to 183.
Well, okay. Wow. I'm sitting here thinking we're talking about burglary and we're talking about a murder. I've done a lot of things wrong in my life, and I don't care what anybody's saying about me. I'm telling you that as badly as I feel for this woman here, I'm sorry, but you guys are barking up the wrong tree, and I don't care how hard you dig, you're not going to find me committing any crime like that. Any crime, period. I broke a driving rules on the law on U-turns and stuff, but I haven't done anything to anybody and I haven't taken anything from anybody. And I know that looking at my track record, it's real easy to respond to that. And I know you have looked at my track record because you brought up stuff that nobody knows about. So that's cool, and I can understand that. And I can definitely understand that if someone picks me out and says, yeah, that's him, and a track record like mine, yeah, it would probably look pretty convincing. But I'm telling you, I'm innocent. I haven't done anything to anybody.
So if you're innocent, you don't have anything to lose by continuing to cooperate with us.
Hey, I will take a lie detector test. I don't have a problem with it.
I'm going to ask you, okay, what if we were to ask for consent to search your trailer?
You can search my trailer.
And your two vehicles.
And my two vehicles.
Okay. What if I was to ask for consent to get a sample of your DNA?
You can get a sample of my DNA.
And it won't hurt. It has to do with swabbing the inside of your mouth for what they call buccal. It's the skin cells inside your mouth. You guys
can do whatever you have to do.
If you would be patient, like I said, you're going to go home. We're going to take you back home. I got to get a crime scene person to get little canister swabs to swab the inside of your mouth. Do you have any problem with that?
No, I don't have any problem with that.
I'm going to go see if that. We'll be right back. You need to go to the restroom.
No, not yet.
You need some more coffee.
Yeah, I probably could use a refill on that.
Just black or?
No, I'll take a sweet and low and some cream. You just fill it up enough. Is there any way that I can call my wife and let her know why I'm up here so she's not down there worrying?
She's here.
She's here? Yeah. Can I see her?
Let me see. The detective's taking a statement from her right now.
Okay. Should I be getting an attorney for all this? Because I'm really...
Do you feel like you need one?
Well, I feel like if I'm going to be a suspect in a murder case, I'm thinking that's highly possible.
Okay, so you don't want to give consent?
Well, I want to get this over with, but I'm also a little bit nervous about it.
Well, you need to make it clear. If you want an attorney, then say you want an attorney. If you don't want an attorney, then say you don't want an attorney. If you want an attorney, then we're not going to talk to you anymore. You're not under arrest. So you're leaving today either way. It's up to you.
I like to talk to my wife first. Okay.
Okay, well, Detective Gilchrist has taken a statement from her right now, so I'm not going to interrupt him.
I'll go ahead and do it. But I am going to get an attorney because I need to find out. You know, I understand y'all are going to get whatever you can to do whatever you got to do, but
Well, you know what, Patrick?
know.
The whole thing is if you're innocent, then it's not a big deal.
I understand that.
And just because you're on parole, that doesn't mean we just decided to pick on you.
I understand that.
Okay? I mean, that's not the way it works, and you know that.
It's okay. I'll take your pen. I'll sign the thing.
Well, now, if you want an attorney, that's fine.
Well, the first thing.
You need to decide what you want. If you want an attorney, then this interview is over.
Okay. Well, I'm going to sign this, but I need to consult with an attorney because this just being a suspect for something like this is not something you guys don't take it lightly. Why should I take it lightly? Right?
That's fine. That's certainly your right.
Well, I mean, it's a necessity. I mean, I shouldn't even be down here at 4:30 in the morning. Y'all are knocking on my door. You know?
I mean, we told you weren't under arrest. You didn't have to come with us.
Well, I'm not.
I mean, you're free to walk out of here right now if you want to.
I'm trying to be helpful as I can. I understand the seriousness of this issue. Okay, I know that someone's been killed here, and it's not easy for me to deal with. But it's harder knowing that I'm trying to make all these decisions under this whole thing that's going on. I mean, I'll sign the thing. Okay, I
don't want it to seem like you're being coerced to do it because you're not. If you don't want to give me consent to get the buccal swab from you, that's fine. You don't have to. It has to be totally of your free will.
Right here.
Mm-hmm. It's 5:30. Today's the 21st. Okay, we're working on getting a tech down here. Okay?
I'd like to see my wife.
As soon as she's done with her statement, you can see your wife. Okay?
You know how long it's going to be?
No. It shouldn't be too long.
I'd like to see her before I do the swab. Thank you.
Hi. Well, you've been real cooperative, Tony. Yeah. And I don't want to be adversarial with you. Okay? And, I'd like to keep talking to you. But, if you want an attorney, then I can't talk to you anymore. So, we got to clear up that issue. Your wife's going to be about 10 more minutes.
I understand. Really, I do understand how serious this thing is. I mean, we're talking about someone's life here.
I know.
I mean, not mine. I'm talking about someone else, and I understand the magnitude that is. I also understand I got 2 boys and a wife that I've got to watch out for, and trying to get away from a past is a pretty hard thing to do. So I learned to adjust to things, just the way of living and everything, and trying to this is just, I can't even believe I'm in here, sitting in here talking to you about this. I mean, this is just, I spent 8 years in prison, so I don't ever have to see the inside of a prison again. And now I'm down here talking about murder charges or whatever you guys are calling it. Okay, I understand, and I'm not trying to make light of it, and I'm sure that there's a lot of folks out there probably hurting because of their loss, and I understand that. That's a pretty hard thing to look at. But I'm sitting here trying to make decisions.
Tony, but the thing is that we're talking about 5 different people who live in 5 different areas who all pick you out. You're being there,
right.
Your van got your license plate. I mean, that.
I'm not disputing whether someone thinks they've seen me, okay? But I'm telling you.
What about your van?
Well, I can't explain that. I can't explain it. I know that looks funny to you guys, and that's okay. That's your job to look at all that stuff. But I've not done anything to anybody. I haven't done anything wrong. I haven't taken anything. I'm trying to live my life and do what's right.
I mean, you say that, but would you really admit to it if you did?
If I did
would you do the Christian thing? I mean,
I would tell you as a
you wouldn't hide behind this whole Christian cloak thing.
Well, if it was a cloak thing, I wouldn't be doing it for 2 years outside of prison. It's not a cloak thing. It's a for real thing. And as a Christian, I wouldn't do something like that. So I wouldn't need to admit to something I wouldn't do.
We even have somebody in a whole nother part of the city from several months ago that picked you out.
All I can do is tell you that.
I mean, you're in an awful lot of places at an awful lot of bad times.
Well, I can't say what people see and what they don't. I'm not. I can't believe this.
But Tony, you're an intelligent man, and I'm not going to sit here and insult you. And I'd appreciate you not sitting there insulting me either. Okay? I'm not trying to throw a case on you. I just, like I said before, I didn't pick your name out of a phone book. Okay? There's a reason why we came to your house and picked you up last night. You know that.
I can tell you this. There is nobody on this earth that I would hurt. And I'm not hurting anybody. And I'm not going to hurt anybody. And at least of all take someone's life. Okay? It doesn't really matter whether y'all believe me or not. I mean, it does to me, but I can't change what you guys believe and what you don't believe. And if you want to take this situation, you guys, I don't know what all you have that you're dealing with. But when you're...
Well, I'm dealing with a woman that's dead, and I'm dealing with a neighborhood that's in a panic because a man came to several of their houses that same day. Some people spent quite a bit of time with that man.
Well, and I understand that.
And, you and I spent a lot of time together, and you probably would remember my face if we spent 20, 30 minutes together, wouldn't you think?
I know I would. If I was looking to see you again, I probably would, yeah.
You would remember me.
Well...
Just like I would remember you.
A lot of people think that they know me and don't.
You have some very distinguishing characteristics about your face.
Well, you're also a homicide officer. You're supposed to look for stuff. I understand that. I mean, I'm not.
But everybody said the same thing, Tony.
Well, I can't. What am I supposed to say? Y'all want me to say that I did something I didn't do. That's what you want.
I just want you to tell the truth. That's all.
Well, I'm trying to, but you guys don't want to hear the truth. You want me to hear me say that I went up.
Who else would have had your van on Thursday up in that neighborhood that you've already put yourself in?
Well,
lost in a rainstorm. Who has your van?
Nobody has my van except me, and my wife. That's it.
But we know she was at school.
Right.
So, I mean, how do you explain that?
Well, I can't explain it. But I know what I've done and what I haven't done in my lifetime, and I haven't done anything to anybody. I don't care what people say. I haven't done anything. And I'm just you know,
Well,
I've got to
nobody
watch.
said that you did anything.
Well, I know that.
These
but,
people
I
aren't
mean,
saying you did something to that girl. These people said that you were at their homes.
I know. Well, you wouldn't have me down here if you didn't think that I could be a suspect. That's a fact. I mean,
a girl is dead in the same neighborhood that you were seen in by several other people. That's suspicious. We'd be remiss if we weren't looking into that.
Well, I'm not knocking you guys for that. Okay, I'm not knocking you. But if you want me to say something that isn't true, you know, I'm
not telling you to say anything that's not true.
Let me share this with you. Okay, I don't know what it's like to lose someone to a murder. Okay, I don't. But I can tell you this, if I lost someone to a murder, I would want the person that did it caught, not just anybody that just looks suspicious. Now, you guys have to investigate things that look suspicious, and that's okay. I understand that. And I'm not having a problem with that. I'm sitting here trying to make decisions. I'm half asleep. I'm trying to make decisions to get this thing done and over with. But at the same time, if you're already looking at me like it's with incriminating evidence, and I'm not going to make that worse on myself.
I didn't make that evidence incriminating.
Well, I'm saying that it looks.
I didn't make up the evidence.
It's incriminating, period. It looks bad.
Well, I mean, you know, people think that you're in their neighborhood, in their homes. You know, that makes people uneasy. Not just on Thursday, but before then. You know? A picture came out on the TV set.
You know, I hear about all these stories, whether they're true or not, I don't know. You know, about, oh, so-and-so was seen, so-and-so was convicted. 10 years later, he's acquitted. It's like, you know, I can't afford to lose my family over something like that.
And I agree with you, you know. And I'm not here to put an innocent man in jail either. That's not my job either, just to solve a case. You know, I want the right person in jail.
Well, then, you know, all right. I try to look at it from you guys' standpoint, you know, but that's real hard for a person that lost his family once for stuff I did. Granted, I never tried to get out. When I got in trouble with the law, I never once ever denied it. In fact, I turned myself in. I never once ever denied when I did something wrong. But if I haven't done something wrong, regardless of how many people claim that I'm in their neighborhood, I'm telling you, I haven't done anything wrong. And I'm not going to say anything or do anything that's going to make it even look worse on me. I lost my family once for something I did. I'm not losing it again for something I haven't done. And that does bother me. You know, this is my second wife. This isn't the wife I had when I got locked up. This is a wife I got after I got locked up. Now, I just got my boys back. I've got a home. I've got some land. Well, after this, who knows? You know, if news gets wind of my name, then I probably will ruin both of us. Just because it doesn't matter whether, you know, anything else happens. It doesn't matter because she ain't going to be able to teach at her school. And I sure I may or may not have a job. I don't know. But I'm looking at all that, and I'm looking at the idea that the possibility of just losing that much over this. You know, I feel for the people and that lady, but we haven't done anything wrong except our lives being disrupted. And I feel like, you know, whether I'm believable or not, you know, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be believable to anybody. I just being honest. And then And, you know, I know on the DNA thing and all this stuff, all it takes is a judge to sign an order to get that stuff done. That's really not even an issue with me. The issue is making decisions that I don't even know right now I'm qualified to make. Because I got so many things running through my head right now about everything. You know, I do want to help. I do want to get some things resolved. And I do want to clear my name. But, you know, some things, yeah, it does scare me. I know what it's like to go to prison. I don't ever want to go back there.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done everything I can to try to make sure that I abide by every single law that I can. Can I ask you this?
Sure.
You know, and I'm just a straight question.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you all even think that I would do something like that? What motive would I've had to do something like that to somebody?
I have no idea. I mean, I have no idea. You know, I've been doing this job a long time. And, you know, I don't know. People have different reasons for different things. You know? Could have been an anger issue. Don't know. I mean, clearly it was. I mean, that woman never did anything to hurt anybody. Everybody loved that woman. I mean, I haven't heard one person say a bad thing about this person. You know? I mean, had no enemies. There's no reason for it. None whatsoever. And so, I don't know. I mean, I don't know you. You know, you and I are strangers. I had no preconceived notions when I came in here about you. Okay? I have several people telling me that you were the person that came to their house. Okay? Same story every time. I mean, it's just way beyond coincidental. Okay? So I'm trying to figure out why you would be in that neighborhood. Okay? I'm trying to figure that out too. I don't know. You know? Was it a burglary? Was it a robbery? Was it a rape? I don't know. But part of the thing is that, you know, all these people saw you there in their neighborhood, spoke with you. Some for 20 minutes, you know, clearly that's a long time. You know, there was no hesitation in picking the picture out of the lineup. There was none. I mean, there was no question about it. So you put yourself in the neighborhood, you know.
In what neighborhood? I don't even know what neighborhood.
The one you got lost in, Tony. The neighborhood that you got lost in.
All right. See, this is.
You know, your van, unless a ghost came in or the body snatchers came in and took you out of that van and put somebody else in there. I don't know how to explain that either. How do you explain that?
I don't even know that it was my van. I don't know what they're. Okay, you guys got a license plate number from wherever. I don't know who you got it from. I'm telling you, I wasn't there. And you say the neighborhood I got lost in. I don't even know what neighborhood I was in. I don't live up in that area. Mm-hmm. The only time I've ever been up in that area is to go to KNLE. That is it. I have never been anywhere else outside of there, so I don't know what area I was in. You know, that may be coincidental, but there's a whole lot of coincidences in life. I can't do nothing about that. But
I don't think that's a coincidence.
Okay.
I mean, I just don't. You know, too many people. You know, if it was one person, maybe, but 3, 4, 5.
Well,
not just this particular day, but another day. That was a month ago.
I'm not saying
or a couple months ago.
I'm not saying that someone didn't see someone like me, but I'm telling you it wasn't me, and you're saying it was me. I'm telling you it's not me.
I'm saying it was certainly somebody that resembles you.
Well, that may,
or you know,
all right, that may
very
be,
close,
but
your twin brother maybe.
Well,
in that van.
There, you know.
That's why we're talking to you, Tony.
I understand that.
You know, can anybody vouch for where you were all afternoon? Where were you at 11 o'clock on Thursday? Did anybody see you? Were you with anybody at 11 o'clock on Thursday?
I could have been. I'd have to look at my organizer. I mean, I could have been. I might have been in a meeting. I don't know. I've lost so many things going on. The whole reason I need an organizer is because I can't keep up with stuff that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it may very well be. I need to look at that and see. I need to look at and find out where I could have been or what could have possibly have been going on.
Maybe you knew it was the day of the storm, and I think everybody pretty much remembers that day. But you told us that you were only down on 183 at KNLE at 4 o'clock.
Right.
The storm was already. I mean, the tornado touched down in Butte at 3:30, so it was already storming like crazy by 4 o'clock.
Well, it was pretty much getting there where I was at. I mean, it was raining. There's no doubt about that. I'm just saying. But it was nice
up until that point. Do you remember where you were before you went to KNLE? That's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, what happened to that time frame? What happened to the whole morning and the whole first part of the afternoon? I mean, if you wrote it down, that's great. If you were with somebody, that's great.
I think that if I look at my organizer, I can get a better idea of what I might have been doing or might not have been doing.
Where is that at? Is that at your house?
It's at my house.
They're at this moment, they're executing a search warrant on your trailer.
Well, I told you guys I would do it anyway.
Well, I'm just saying, they're executing a search warrant. It's probably a better legal thing to do than to...
Where are my boys at?
I don't know what arrangements your wife made. They're Detective Gilchrist is just about done with her, and she's going to come in here and talk to you. But they're out there right now. They're searching the trailer. They're gotten with your minister. They're going to go search the church. See if you have any compartments out there that they're going to get a search warrant for. They've located some zip ties there at the trailer, and I'm sure they'll run some testing on it to see if the markings on that are going to match the markings on this woman. And you don't have to say anything, and we can sit here and say, well, it might be somebody that resembles you or looks at. They picked you out, not a friend, not somebody that looks like. They picked you out. They had a conversation with you. They swore to an affidavit that it was you. They took your license plate number on your van, and they're willing to swear to it that it was your van with those license plates. And it wasn't just Thursday. It was in another location in West Austin or in Southwest Austin that a lady took your license plate number down after you came and started asking some really, what did she call it? Some unsettling conversation that she had with you. And she said she would never forget your face again. And she didn't. And she took it upon herself to write the license plate number down of your van. And she provided that. When she heard about this case, she called us and provided us with that information. So this isn't stuff that we're just pulling out of the air. These are facts that we've been gathering for the last several days before we asked you to come down here and talk to us. I mean, this is where the case is going. And all we asked of you, we're not asking you to make up stuff that we want to hear. We're building a case.
I understand that.
Okay?
I understand.
And all we asked for you to do, you said you were a Christian. You said that you tell the truth. And all we ask that you do is sit here and tell us the truth about what happened. Okay? We're going to get to the bottom of it. With you or without you. But we thought you'd come in here like a man, sit and talk to us and tell us what happened out there. If you snapped, then tell us that.
Well, see, now you're trying to, this is what I was telling the officer here is, you guys are trying to place me in a murder situation. And I'm telling you,
okay,
let's
take you away from that murder situation. Why aren't you telling us about these conversations you had with these people that we know were true? That these people picked you out. Okay, let's not talk about the murder. You say we're trying to put you in a murder. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about these conversations you had with these people in this neighborhood. These people that clearly saw you, clearly got your license plate off your van. Let's not talk about the murder. I mean, there's got to be a reason why you're not telling us. If it's because you thought, man, if I tell you that, then I'm really looking more circumstantially. It's making me even look worse than what's happening right now. If I admit to having these conversations, then circumstantially that's even going to be worse. But it's got to be explained.
Maybe you're having some financial problems. You know, clearly if you're only making $800 a month, that's nothing. You can't support a family on $800 a month.
That's
Your
right.
wife's the only one making any money, really. She's gone to work all day, you know. I mean, you have a gig every once in a while. You do some stuff at the church every once in a while, and I'm sure that most of that is volunteer type stuff.
No, I can assure you this one thing. I haven't murdered anybody. I haven't robbed anybody. I haven't burglarized any houses.
Well,
And no matter, I don't care how bad it looks on me. I haven't done anything to anybody. And you can search my house.
Tell us what you've done.
I haven't done anything. That's what I'm telling you.
Were you in this neighborhood?
No.
You weren't talking to any of these people?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. And you say that you talked to your wife the whole time that you were at KLNE and that you talked her all the way back to Bastrop?
No, I did not say that.
Okay.
I
You
said that
I
I was
with her
lost
on,
and I was on the phone for a good hour with her on my way home.
And what time was that?
I'm not sure exactly. The first time I spoke to her was around 4. I know that. After that, it was probably about an hour, I guess. And then I spoke to her all the way home.
And what time did you get home?
I guess around 5:30 or 6. I'm not sure exactly what time it was.
So either your recollection is incorrect or her recollection is incorrect.
Well, no, I don't think that she has an incorrect recollection. I'm pretty
she said
sure.
She talked to you once, and that was at 3:30 when she called you, and then she didn't talk to you again until about 7:15 or 7:30 that night.
No,
and this is the night of the storm.
That's not true. And
I mean, that's what she's.
Well, then she needs to be reminded because that's not true. There's no way I got home before then.
Okay, and you also know that we can get your cell phone records. And
You
I'm gonna
sure can.
And we're going to verify
Yes, you can.
how long you were on the phone, where you were at the time you were having these phone conversations.
Yes, you can.
Okay, I mean that's something that we're going to do.
That's true,
okay?
and you can.
And it'll either disprove what she's saying, or it's going to prove what you're saying, that you had these conversations and that.
Well, I'm sure that I'm going to tell you something. I'm pretty sure she's pretty confused right now herself.
Okay.
You know, I don't even know what's really going on here other than my head is spinning right now because I'm caught up in something that could ruin our lives. And it doesn't matter whether you guys believe me or not. It's just the idea that this just the notion of us being down here talking to you could ruin everything for both of us.
Well, we have a job that we've got to do.
And I understand that. It doesn't mean that you ruin.
And we don't run out and randomly just snatch people out. When people come to us with information, we have to follow up on that information.
I'm not.
It was more than one person that came.
Well, I'm not
us.
disagreeing with that. Y'all are talking to me like I committed a murder, though, and I haven't. And I don't care what it looks like. I haven't done nothing to anybody. I haven't hurt anybody. I haven't done anything.
That woman that we showed you the picture of, you said you've never seen her before, never had a conversation with her, never been to her residence, and you've never been inside her residence.
I do not recall ever meeting her ever.
You don't recall ever meeting her, seeing her, talking to her, going into her house.
Correct.
Being at her doorway. You don't. That never happened as far as you recall.
Right.
Okay. Do you have any property at the church?
I have a lot of property at the church.
Do you have a locker there?
I have a cabinet.
Is it locked?
No.
So this would be something that your pastor would say this belongs to Patrick or Tony.
Pretty much.
Okay.
You would know if it belonged to me or not.
And you have a guitar?
I have guitars. I have keyboards, PA system.
And they're not going to find anything in this deal that doesn't belong to you.
Well,
because they're on their way to do that right now.
I'm not saying there's not things there that aren't mine, but I mean I don't keep everything in one place. I mean I do have things that are other people's. Like there might be a guitar chord that I mean the stage is full of chords. Something may belong to one person. Most of them are mine.
I guess what I'm saying, there wouldn't be anything in there. And they're going to be looking, so there's not going to be anything incriminating there.
No.
Towards you. about
Be
what
honest
we're
with you,
talking
I don't
about.
know what's going to look incriminating to me. As far as I know, there's not going to be anything incriminating, but that doesn't mean that nothing won't be there that you guys won't consider incriminating. I mean, you guys.
Well, clearly, if a piece of property that belongs to one of these victims is there, that I'm not
Well,
saying
how
that's
many victims are there now? I mean, see, you said one of these victims. How many victims are there?
Well, we're still working on that. There's one dead person, and then there's other people's houses that someone has gone to.
I would really, really like to see my wife.
Let me see if she's done.
And before I even talk to her alone, I want you present when I ask her a couple of questions about the phone call thing and see if it doesn't jog her memory. I'm not going to insinuate anything, but even my wife can forget things. And I think that if I just bring up a couple of things, then you guys could see if she made a mistake on her thing. Because I'm telling you, that phone bill is going to show different. I would like to be with her alone, but I want to wait to be with her alone until after I asked her this question in front of you guys, so that you guys can't say that, oh, I just talked to her in private and planned it all out or anything like that.
Okay. Do you hang out with anybody during the day?
No. Sure don't.
You don't have a buddy that can vouch for you for some stuff? That was with you? That you hang out with?
No, I don't hang out with anybody. I just stuff at church, or if I do stuff with people at church, but I don't hang out with people. Then I'm going to sure try my best to find someone that I might have been with somewhere.
What do you think your wife is going to say?
I don't know.
Think she's going to have doubt?
I don't think she'll doubt me. I think she knows me well enough. At least I hope so. I think that she knows our world's fixing to be turned upside down. And she's already been there, so that's not going to be easy.
Well, something to keep in mind is that, just because you go into somebody's house doesn't mean you commit a crime.
I understand that.
I think the truth is going to come out. And I think that 5 people can't be wrong all on the same day.
I'm not saying any of them are wrong. I'm saying they're sadly mistaken.
You said that you just got your kids back. What did that mean?
Well, I just got my youngest boy back just last Friday.
Was he with
In fact, that's where I was
wife?
at. Friday, I was in Houston. See, something that big, I even forgot. We were all in Houston. Picked my son up from the airport. Can't believe I let that slip out.
You don't think your wife already told us that?
Well, probably, yeah.
Why lie about something like that?
I didn't lie.
But why would you think that's a slip?
Because it slipped my mind
Mm-hmm.
that I can't believe I didn't remember going to Houston to pick my son up. That's a pretty big thing to forget.
Well, I think you're just under a lot of stress right now. That's not uncommon. Tony, you're clearly stressed. Your body language is stressful. I've been doing this long enough to know when somebody's got nervous behavior.
Well, I'm darn right I'm nervous. You'd be nervous too if someone was accusing you of something. something this serious, of anything, period, but something this serious. I'm not just talking.
Have I accused you of anything? I'm telling you
I know
what's happened over the last several days.
I know that.
Since this has happened. Okay.
I understand that, but
it's other people being able to pick you out of a lineup, and that's, you know, I'm just telling you that.
Well, you know,
the evidence is.
You also know, if you've been in this business for any length of time, people that see people. I'm not. Please forgive me. I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm not stupid, and I know people can say they've seen people till doomsday and be mistaken, and I'm telling you they're mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And I may not be able to account for every single minute, but I never planned on sitting in a room like this being questioned about a murder. Otherwise, I probably would have kept every minute of every day written down. But I don't do that.
Well, nobody expects to be sitting in a room being questioned.
Well, I know
about
that,
a murder.
but so if I can't account for something, I'm sorry. I can't account for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I can account for things I haven't done. I know I haven't done anything wrong.
Mm-hmm. Well, walking into somebody's house because you want to buy a house, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it, no.
I mean, that's not against the law.
I understand that.
You know? And that's part of the reason why nobody really thought anything of it. Until the girl showed up dead. Then all of a sudden it was a big deal because there was a strange man in our neighborhood all day long.
You know, I'm sure that y'all would like to, you know, there's nothing stopping anybody from getting a warrant, okay? And, you know, I know.
Do I have a warrant?
No, I know that. I understand that.
No.
And I don't have a problem with buying time so y'all can gather your evidence so that in case something comes up, you can get a warrant. And that's cool, too.
You're not buying time. We're going to let you talk to your wife, and she is here.
Well,
she
I know,
really
but
is.
you guys said 10 minutes almost an hour ago.
Well, you know, like Detective Fuentes said, you know, once you start trying to clear up one issue, you know, we started talking, you know, we've probably been talking for the last 30 minutes.
I know. I would
just
like
flies
to talk
by.
to my wife.
And you're going to talk to your wife. You know, I really wanted to hear the truth from you because I think you were out in that neighborhood and I think you were looking in people's houses and going to people's houses. You know, all these people can't be wrong. There was nothing wrong with that, you know. But what's the issue? Because you weren't where you were supposed to be, your wife would be disappointed, it would be a lie, you know. You know, you claim to be this big devout Christian, and yet, you know, your story just doesn't really fit. And all these people can't be wrong. I mean, that's what looks bad to me.
Yeah.
Is this whole Christian thing, you know? Are you ready? Huh?
Manuel came and got me. You want her to come in?
Yeah. You're ready?
Yeah.
He wanted to ask her a question in front of me.
Yeah. Come on in, Janet. I promise you it's all messed up. It's not me. I'll give you my word on that, okay? Don't go nowhere. I want to ask this.
Well, I'll let you have your moment together and then.
I'm so sorry this time. But I don't care what they say. I know. sorry you're going through this. But I promise you, as far as my witness, I never did anything to anybody. I promise you. And I think about how this affects you and our church and everything. I work so hard for.
I know.
You know, I couldn't even account for Friday. Like I said, it wasn't done just a few minutes ago that I told him, I said, you know, I couldn't think Friday what I did Friday. And then I told him, oh, well, I just dawned on me that we picked John up from the airport. It's like, how can I forget something like that?
Not really.
Look at this. You know, I try to stay strong through this stuff. And then I think about what you're going through and how hard this must be on you, the kids. And I can't explain it. I can't. But I can promise you all my heart they're wrong. You know, they think, oh, you're just hiding under a cloak of Christian and this and that. It's like, no, you don't know what I've done to try to get my life in order and everything. And I understand they're in a situation where they're dealing with people, and I'm trying to explain to them. They don't want to listen. You know, I told them they could search a house. Well, they went ahead and did it anyway. It didn't matter because they knew that they didn't have to have my permission. Mm-hmm. But I said, go ahead. And then they said they want to do a swash job on me. And even though I signed the paper, I told them I want to talk to you first because, you know, I don't want to incriminate myself more and more. And, oh, God, I can't believe this is happening. I'm just asking you to do one thing for me, okay? Don't ever not believe it, no matter what it looks like. You know, I knew Satan was going to attack. I just knew it, you know, and but I never expected anything like this. But I can promise you this, listen. I promise you this one thing. It doesn't matter what anybody says or does. Innocent. They're trying to tell me, oh, well, 5 people say they seen you in the neighborhood. And, well, one lady got your license plate. And I said, well, I can't explain that, but I wasn't there, you know. And then they said, well, I asked them, well, what neighborhood is this? And they said, what's the neighborhood you said you were lost in? I said, well, I don't even know what neighborhood I was in. And they're not trying to hear that. When I told her I was going to ask you in front of her about the phone calls because, you know, they were saying, well, they said, well, they talked to you and you said that you talked to me about 3:30 and then you didn't hear from me till 7 o'clock at night again. And I said, no, that's not true. I said that because they can check the phone thing. And that's what I was going to ask you in front of her so that they can know, because I remember it being around 4 and I was pulling into the parking lot. And I said it was probably about an hour or so later, and I couldn't recall everything. I mean, right now my head is spinning. I'm tired, and I'm thinking about everything we worked so hard for. You know, Satan's trying to tear down, and I don't understand it. I only know that I haven't done nothing to nobody, and I'm not going to sit here. I want to ask you one question, okay? They want to do a swatch. Now, I signed the paper. But I told him I want to talk to you first before I did it because, you know, I don't know what all this stuff incurs that's for DNA. I don't have a problem doing it. But I want to make sure that it's because we're making the decision. You know, we don't have an attorney here. I'm telling you, they're not going to care about anything other than getting all they can. And I don't have a problem with that. But if you want me to do it, then I'll go ahead and do it. If you say we ought to wait, I'll call my grandmother. We'll get the money and we'll get an attorney. Now, they're saying I ain't arrested, but they're keeping me here long enough so they can try to find something so they can arrest me. I don't have any doubt about that. They say, oh, we took some zip ties from your house. Well, if I had some zip ties, I didn't remember I had any, but they said we were going to match them up with what you have. Whatever they're saying, that if they match up with some kind of marks on their person. And I said, okay, fine. I don't have a problem with that either. They called, I guess Jim was at the church. They're going through my stuff at the church. I don't have a problem with that either. But, you know, I'm pretty scared over this.
Me too.
And I know it's hard on you because I could tell when you walked in, you've been crying for a while.
Me too.
Listen, Jen, you got to believe in me. So, I've done some things in my life, but I'd never do nothing like this. Jen. Please don't let them cause you to stop believing in me. Because I'm telling you, Janet, no matter what anything looks like, I'm not guilty of anything. And I know they're looking at, they asked me, well, what'd you do with they can't have a charge. I said, well, and then it just kind of compiles. Just gets piled up. You wonder, what do I got to do, you know, to get my life right? You know, what do I got to do to be able to not have to keep going through stuff? You know, no matter what. Because I'm innocent. I want to wait around for the swatch, but you want me to do it? You want me to give them a DNA, or do you want me to wait? You see, I'm too tired and I just don't know if I should be making decisions like this right now, because we're not talking about, I mean, when we came in here, I thought we were talking about a robbery or something. And then they showed me, like, have I seen her before? And we're insinuating, like, you know, oh, I thought she had, you know, said that she had seen me and that I'd robbed her or something. And they say she's dead. And it's like, what are you saying? I don't care what it looks like. Love you.
I'm gonna get through it. Believe.
Where are the boys?
They're gone.
God, I was before I've done stuff. No, I deserve what I got.
know.
And I just took
I know.
my luck. I'm always in the wrong place. Sometimes I just want to hide out in the house and never show my face, and you can't ever be in the wrong place. Or, and I know it looks bad too. I'm not blaming the officers, you know.
I know. I know.
You know, they want me to say I was. They want me to say, "Oh, I was there." You know, I said, "You know what? I'm not stupid." I said, "I understand. People can make mistakes." Well, 5 people say they saw you. Some of them spoke with you for 20 minutes. I said, "Well, you know, they didn't speak with me." And they say, "Well, one person wrote down your license plate. How can you explain that?" I said, "I can't explain it, but I know that where I was at." And well, 3 months ago or something, they were saying, "Well, someone else saw," because I didn't know they put something on the TV late last night. But they said, "Well, your picture, a picture that looks like you, was put on TV last night. Did you know that?" I said, "No, I didn't know that." And that's when I guess they got calls or something, and I don't know. You know, they said, "Well, how can you explain people saying that they described you?" And I said, "You know, I have people all the time come and think that they know me and I don't know them." I said, "You know, I don't know what's about my face that's happened for so long that people come up and you think that they think that they know you." And so much. I'm so sorry for you going through so much. Me too. And I'm so sorry. What are you thinking right now?
Thinking what I've been thinking the whole time. Thinking that the nightmare is going to end. I'm thinking that God has to do what God has to do. If it's
You know, I want to be in the prison ministry, but not from the inside, you know. Yes.
We're getting ready to take you guys home. What did you want to do about the swabs?
What do you want to do?
just, as far as, I mean, we don't have any reason not to do the swab.
It's completely up to him. It's on a totally voluntary basis.
Okay.
You know, I can't say one way or the other. He said he wanted to cooperate. That's
Yeah.
fine. You know, it's up to him. It has to be voluntary.
I just think you should do it.
Okay. I'll do it.
Okay. Let me get the girl.
Okay.
And if it's, you have to trust that no matter what happens, don't you? I'm talking about swab or nothing. That you just, you know, when we get home, we'll call.
Now, you know, I want you to do this, okay? No matter what. I'm gonna call my grandmother and I'm gonna see if she'll put up money for a lawyer, Okay, and I know I haven't been arrested yet. I'm telling you, I'm the prime person they're going to be looking at right now. And with my history, it's like, well, you sure you didn't blow up? You know, they're asking me that. They're saying, well, you know, you could have snapped, you know, and you didn't know it. It's okay. It's like, no, it's not okay, you know, because I didn't do nothing. But, you know, and you telling them, I said, but even if out of your wildest thing, I was in a neighborhood at all, that doesn't make me a murderer, you know, and I don't understand how I can always be in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's like my life story. Man. But I am innocent.
I don't always judge character right. Yeah, I learned that with the kids, and I make hasty decisions, and I just. But the one thing I know in my heart is that it's not you.
You know, they were asking me, well, do you ever pawn anything? I said, yeah, I pawn my guitar and my amp, and you pawn any jewelry and thing. No, what kind of watch you got on? It's like,
Walmart.
well, yeah. And I told them that, and then they said, well, you know, when I first came in, they said, well, this is about something, you know, I had a crime committed, and there's some things missing. And I said, okay. And, you know, I thought we were talking about robbery or something. And then they said, well, you know, we had burglary charged, didn't you? I said, yeah. I said, but I didn't commit burglary. I said, I've had assaults, and they turned them into burglaries. And they said, well, either you committed burglary or you committed assault. I said, well, no. When I hit someone through their doorway, that's considered burglary of habitation. And they didn't want to hear all that. You know, it's like, you know, what'd you go in to steal? You know, I go to steal anything.
John slept like a log. All those people in the house, and he never budged off that couch.
What did they do?
They
Go
came
through
back.
cabinets and everything?
I wasn't there.
Oh.
I
Well, who
called
was
Jackie
there?
and Roy.
Oh.
Jackie come
How'd you get down here?
They came back and got me.
Oh.
After he left the dogs, I was crying and praying, and
So
thought I
sorry.
heard some stuff outside. And I was thinking, I heard people walking around, and I looked, and I didn't see anybody, and dogs kept barking, and pretty soon I saw somebody up on the porch, and I kind of looked out again, and I realized it was a police officer again. So I went ahead and
You got a tissue on your mind. The used one would work now. Oh, God, I can't believe this is happening. When you're not under arrest, well, why are you keeping me here so long? Because I know I can walk out, but I'm trying to get this thing resolved. And
that's
you
what
know,
we're gonna do.
I told him, I said, no, you know,
But we also have a way back home.
well, I explained to him, I said, you know, I want to do what I can, but it's just, you want me to say I did something I didn't do, and I didn't hurt anybody, I didn't rob anybody, I didn't kill anybody. You know, I've done some pretty serious stuff in my life. I would never, ever do that to somebody. And they kept insisting, you know.
But God will get us through this just like He's gotten us through everything.
Just don't want it.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
You got a tissue paper by any chance?
Yeah. Go ahead and read this again, okay, so that we're all clear, and then you can have your wife witness it, and then this is Noe Villarreal, and he'll be the one that's going to take the swab, okay?
I'm just saying that I agree to it, whatever they use it for, as long as it's legal.
John, you can leave.
I'm gonna have you stand up, and this is a sterile swab I'm gonna be using. I'm gonna have to ask you to open your mouth twice. Scan. All I'm gonna do is wipe the side of your cheeks, okay? So I'll just
Okay, if we're gonna take a couple 35s for that was for the swabs. We're gonna take a couple 35 millimeters,
What's that?
35 millimeter camera.
Yeah.
Better.
Okay.
And we'll be done. I'll take you home. We'll do that here.
Unconvinced by his version of events, detectives arrest Tony Russo the next day on a parole violation and bring him back in for another round of questioning.
Tony, is there anything that you want to say to us just before we start asking any questions? Is there anything you want to tell us about yourself or explain to us that you don't think we understand? Or
I don't know what it is I'm supposed to tell you that you're not going to understand. You guys know my record. And for 2 years, I've done everything I can to make the best life for my family and myself. Being caught up in this whole thing is such a mind boggler that I feel like I'm in a nightmare state right now. You know, you work really hard to make something, try to turn your life around, and something like this happens. It's pretty hard.
What were your dreams? What were you working for? What were you working towards?
Just making a better life for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to make something of myself. And it just seems like everything is going out the window.
how'd you get involved with the church?
When I came out, I was involved in church all through prison. And when I came out, I got involved with the church. And I moved from that church to another church. And eventually someone came knocking on my door. It happened to be the pastor of the church I'm at now, and said, someone told us that you'd be a really good music minister for us. And we talked and prayed about it and let some time pass. And then we decided to go ahead and join their church as their music minister, which was a little over a year ago. And it's opened up a lot of doors for trying to keep youth from going to prison. Gave us opportunities to talk to people in jail and help them so they can get out and make something of their life. And
Were you religious before you went to prison?
I can say that I was in the process of trying to put my life in order. I was very, had recently gotten off of drugs, and I was trying to deal with just learning how to deal with stress and things like that. But it seemed like I just was, too many things were going wrong, and I didn't know how to handle it, but I didn't want to go to drugs. So I ended up having a nervous breakdown.
That book that you wrote, that's pretty impressive. When did you write that?
Probably the first 2 years I was locked up.
Really? Who helped you write it?
A friend of ours from Switzerland. They
Really?
used to be here in the United States.
What made you want to decide to write a book?
Originally, I wasn't writing a book to write a book. I was originally writing because I wanted to find out what it was that caused me to have a nervous breakdown, because I didn't understand how a person who was really trying to, cope with learning how to deal with stress, staying off of drugs, paying on fines, doing all these things, trying to do what's right, could have a nervous breakdown and end up in jail. And so I started looking back and digging further back, and I had friends that were being honest and said, you need to go back further. And by the time we got done with it, after about 400 pages of writing, they thought I should put it in a book. So they helped edit it and narrow it down.
Did it help
Tremendously.
getting it out?
It made all the difference in the world.
I mean, do you blame stuff that happened in your childhood, on you having a drug problem or developing a drug problem when you were growing up?
When I was growing up, yeah.
When did you start getting into drugs?
I was about 14.
14?
Somewhere.
That's pretty young.
But I eventually learned how to accept the fact that the choices I was making as an adult were choices I chose to make. Couldn't blame it on anybody.
Did you have a bad childhood? I mean, obviously I haven't had a chance to read your book, but I noticed that you had written one, and I thought that was pretty impressive.
It wasn't a normal childhood. Spent a lot of time in foster homes.
Oh, really? Because your mom didn't want you or couldn't take care of you, or?
Because my mother and father were having some personal problems and they divorced, and my mother didn't want my father to have me, and kind of one of those long drawn out things where the kid gets stuck in the middle. And
Do you have brothers and sisters?
yes, I have a brother and 2 sisters.
Did you get to grow up with them, or were they caught in the middle of divorce too?
No, they were different situation because my family didn't believe that they were my father's children. We knew one wasn't my oldest sister's. So anyhow, it ended up where my family just wanted me, and my mother didn't want that. So went through a lot of stuff.
Do you think was she mean to you because of that?
No, she was never really mean to me. I just think that she was trying to get back at my father. I don't think it had anything to do with me personally. And I never hated her for what she did. I just think she made some bad choices.
Do you still have contact with her now?
She's dead.
She's dead. Did y'all kind of make amends before she died? Yeah. Is that why you were in prison?
No, that was before I ever got in trouble. Long before I ever got in trouble.
Where were you living when you got into the drugs? With relatives or in a foster care?
I don't really remember. I know I was around 13 or 14 though.
What kind of drugs were you into at that time? I know you said earlier yesterday that you were into everything, but
mostly just pot.
Pot?
And it escalated as I got older and got involved with other people in different areas.
did you get in trouble when you were a juvenile? Were you ever arrested as a juvenile?
I don't really remember if I ever was. I'd spent so much time in and out of foster homes and juvenile hall, even though I wasn't in juvenile hall for being in trouble. It was just one of those things that orphanage. Pretty much, I think if you did read my book, you'd know more about me than most people. Because I didn't hide anything in the book.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate women. I don't hate men. I don't hate anybody. I don't blame anybody for anything. The only person I blame is myself for being stupid enough to fall in that trap,
Mm-hmm.
making mistakes. only my mistakes hurt my family, hurt my children. But
How about I'm sorry to interrupt you. How about your children's mother?
she's up in Indiana.
Was that a bad divorce, or was that?
She divorced me when I was in prison this last time. Understandable, you know, it hurt, but it was understandable. We thought I was going to be in there a couple of years, ended up being almost 8. And I met my previous wife through one of the ministries that was coming into the prison. And that's probably one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Yeah, that's Janet.
Yeah.
You married her while you were still in prison, is that right?
Are you still on speaking terms with your first wife?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how's Janet taking this?
Well, she's probably as hurt as I am. But she stands by me and she believes in me. That's something that I'm very thankful for. It's been a long 2 days.
Yeah, it has. Did Janet tell you when y'all left here that she believed you? She was going to stand by you?
Yes, she did. And I believe her.
And you probably don't have any reason not to.
I don't have any reason.
I talked to her for a long time yesterday. And, it's, you know, it's obvious she cares about you a great deal. She wants everything to be okay. She's confused about some of the circumstances and situations as you would naturally, she would naturally be, but I think that Janet's used to living her life by faith, and she just has a lot of faith that everything is okay. I don't think that she understands, you know, why certain things that we showed her, how they could be. But I think that right now she's just going by that faith that she has in you, that, you know, that
She knows me better than anybody.
Yeah.
And with all due respect, better than you guys know me.
well, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
sure.
I mean, we've known you, what, 2 days?
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're in here talking about, you know, your past and all this, and trying to get to know who you are and what makes you tick. Why you happen to be in this set of circumstances to where we have to be in here, you know?
You're in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's why.
Well,
Are you referring to being lost in the neighborhood? Yeah.
you know, we have we've done a lot of investigation. We've been going nonstop since this thing started off, and we've compiled a lot of information, and I'm sure, you know, a lot of it they talked to you about yesterday. We don't have a whole lot of faith that or trust in circumstance, and things just happening out of the blue. I don't believe that a whole bunch of coincidences just happen, you know. With the information that we've gathered, the things that you talked to us about yesterday, what I learned from Janet, what we've learned from other people, it's just more than coincidence that all these things are happening. It's just more than coincidence that there's so many similarities in what we're investigating and in things that happened in your past, as y'all talked about yesterday.
Here's, I don't know the circumstances on what's happened, okay? Because you guys haven't told me anything, and I can't sit here and guess. But I can't explain why things are the way they are. I can't explain it. And I'm not probably ever going to convince you, no matter how much I sit there and try to tell you I haven't done something wrong. But I haven't done anything to anybody. I haven't stolen anything from anybody. I haven't murdered anybody. And I will never in my life ever say I did.
Well, if you didn't do any of those things, I don't want you to say you did. You know, like I told Janet yesterday, we're not interested in putting an innocent person in jail. All that means is that there's a guilty person still out here.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
But if you look at things from our perspective, there's, we've got people saying that your van with your license plate. I mean, how random is it that somebody's going to write down the exact numbers of your license plate in a neighborhood? I mean, that's the odds of that are absolutely astronomically unbelievable. And so you got to see it from our point too, And I can live with you being in the neighborhood. I mean, we've got people that put you there. But you got to look at it from our standpoint, from the fact that you're saying that you were never there, and we know you were there. So we got to try to figure out why are you saying that you weren't there?
I don't even know where there is.
The neighborhood that you were lost in.
Well, I don't know where that is. I don't know where it is.
It's up by where that radio station is, Tony.
Okay.
I mean, you weren't that far. You know how far you went to get it
Right.
when you got lost, and it probably wasn't too far off Mopac. I mean, you know that 183, and where the radio station is. I mean, is it possible that you have I know you love your wife and everything. Is it possible you have a girlfriend over there? Maybe you don't want something to come out, or somebody, get in trouble. Maybe.
My wife is everything to me.
Okay.
I would never have an affair. I would never do anything to hurt her, ever. She has been more to me than any person in my lifetime, and I would never do anything to hurt her.
Okay.
And I wouldn't say I was with somebody just to get out of something.
Okay. Are you in trouble financially?
No.
No.
She makes good money. I didn't make great money, but I also had money in California. If I needed something, all I had to do was send for it. Had thousands and thousands of dollars left to me by my family. And so money is not an issue. We've got credit cards. That van that we have is in my name. It's a brand new van. We bought the house that was in her name. The land was in both our names. There's nothing that, we would have any reason to steal or burglarize or anything. I've got.
Were you looking for a new home in this neighborhood, or? I mean, are you looking for a new home? Would you like to move to a different home?
No, I'm not looking for a new home. We just bought this place back in, a little over a year ago, a year and a half ago. Almost 2 years ago, I guess.
Was it brand new? Did you buy it?
Yes. We had it put on the property.
So why were you over there
I was over where?
in that neighborhood?
Told you
In
because
North Austin?
I was in the neighborhood originally to go to Candle. And when it was raining and all the traffic started building up, I tried to take a shortcut, so I went to cut around, and I got lost, and all the rain started pouring down on us. And,
Was there somebody with you?
I mean, the people in town, us people.
Had you heard from your wife earlier on Thursday, before all this stuff happened, the rainstorm and everything? Because she said she normally calls you every day about noonish.
Lunchtime she normally does. I don't remember because sometimes she doesn't. Sometimes she has meetings and she can't. It's possible. I don't remember. I can't really recall. I know that she called me when she was leaving, and normally that's around 3:45 or 4 or something like that. I just know it varies from time to time depending on if students catch her before she's going out or a teacher catches her. And I was talking to her for a pretty short time because I was pulling up in the KNLE parking lot. And I told her I would call her back later on, and later happened to be about an hour later, I guess somewhere around there. I'm not really sure on if it was an hour and 10 minutes. I mean, it could have varied either way with all that was going on with the traffic and rain and everything. And I called her back and told her that I was lost. I'm trying to find my way back, and that's when she was watching the news and saw the stuff coming in, and she decided to go ahead and stay on the line and kind of help me decide which way I don't want to go. And eventually I got to 183 thinking I was going in the right direction, and I eventually found myself right back in front of KNLE after about probably, I guess, 10 or 15 minutes, because it took a while waiting on that traffic on 183 Excess Road. And I couldn't understand why they were taking all the traffic off the freeway, but they were. And I just happened to glance over, and you can't miss that big old van sitting in the parking lot. Even with all the rain, it's pretty noticeable. And then I realized that I right back where I started. So I went up eventually got to the corner and made a right-hand turn. And I saw a couple of cars making U-turns because there was traffic lined up coming this way too. And I made a U-turn, an illegal U-turn, but I made a U-turn there. There's I don't know if it's an island or it has some of those bumpers that stick up out of the road. I made a U-turn over that, went across the light, and finally got to the right, the side I was supposed to be on 183. And I took it all the way home, where I had to make my turns. I stayed on the phone with her the whole time. And then it wasn't until I was about ready to pull up in the driveway that I think I got off the phone with her. So.
Okay, so when did you get to KNLE?
It was around 4 o'clock.
About 4.
Give or take a few minutes.
And you talked to Janet at that time, just
I was
a
talking
short-
to her just before I pulled up in there.
okay. And then you said about an hour later she called you, or y'all talked again?
Well, she said she tried to call me. I didn't know. I know I tried to call her once before, and I couldn't get through. And it wasn't until it was probably an hour, give or take a few minutes. I'm not sure exactly. I wasn't exactly keeping a time on everything. I just knew that I was going to try to call her and see if the cell phone was working. And
So that would make it in the 5 o'clock range? 5:30, something like that?
it's something like that.
Okay. Was it dark?
Well, it was dark from the rain alone, but it was getting dark for sure. It was probably, I can't really remember. I know it was near that dark time where it was getting dark.
And then you talked to her until you got close to home?
Correct. Until I almost got in the driveway.
Yesterday you told the detectives that you got on the phone with her at 4 and stayed on the phone until 5. And you got home
No, I
about
didn't.
5:45, isn't that right?
No, that's not true.
I think you said you got home around 7.
No. I said that I thought I got home around 5:30 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
But when Janet was recounting the time frame, she was telling me no, it was probably closer to 7, and I thought, well,
Okay, so you're remembering 5:30 or 6, and she's telling you no, it's later than that.
she's saying that I got home around 7.
So your recollection is earlier.
My recollection is I didn't remember. I told you guys that I wasn't sure of the time frame. I was giving you a roundabouts because of all the stuff that was going on. I didn't know what time it was. I didn't watch my clock.
What time was your meeting with KNLE?
I didn't have a meeting set with KNLE. I had talked to a couple of gentlemen a number of times about getting our website up. When I had problems doing what they told me to do, this was over a period of 3 months' time, I gave the information to my guitarist, who in turn was trying to get information up. When he couldn't do it, and he was probably a couple weeks or so, maybe 4 weeks into it, he finally was at a point where he was ready to go ahead and just try to get a new domain name. Because we paid for a year's domain name with a different site, and when the site messed us over, we went ahead and went with KNLE. KNLE is our sponsored host that we went through.
So you didn't have a set time, you just decided to drive out there and show up and see what you could do?
I pretty much had done that before. It just depends on who's going to probably be up there.
So you didn't call ahead and
I didn't call ahead.
Make an appointment to see the
to
guy.
make sure that the guy was going to be there or anything like that?
No.
You just took a chance?
Yeah, because a lot of times you can call up there and you won't get an answer. And, but the guy that I'd spoken to previously, I don't know the exact day, I assumed worked for KNLE, but I'm not sure if he works for them or if he's just the web holder for their thing, or they've got a webmaster and they have, I think there was 2 or 3 different people I've spoken to. I've sat down at the computer with Sherlin, that they have a computer there that we've actually gone over, and he showed me how to build websites and all that stuff.
Did Janet know you were going that day?
Did she know I was going up there before then?
Uh-huh.
No.
So she didn't know until she called you after school that you had gone with her?
Correct.
Why would Janet tell me that you had told her that the people from KNLE had called you when she asked you why you were going up there?
I I think that she probably misunderstood what I said. I said that I had spoken to the guy that does the stuff for KNLE, and I didn't specify that day. And she might assume that I was talking about that day.
There's a misunderstanding there.
Probably so.
Been a lot of misunderstandings in this deal. Well,
Do you have a lot of business in Austin? I mean, do you come to Austin very often?
Not real often, no.
No. What do you do when you come? I mean, do you come just to go to KNLE or?
Sometimes I come just to go to KNLE. Sometimes I've come up to go to music makers. Sometimes I've gone up there to a particular pawn shop that I've done.
Which one do you
business
usually
in.
go to?
It's that one right by Music Makers, Doc Holiday's.
On South Lamar? Over there?
how much stuff have you pawned away?
I've only pawned my amp. I had talked about buying speakers from them at one time, and I have an amp up there, a PA amp that's in pawn right now.
Have you pawned anything anyplace else?
Yes, I pawned my guitar at Easy Pawn in Bastrop. And the purpose for that was because it was at a time when we needed some money for extra bills that we were trying to catch up on with summer and getting ready to. I sent child support to my ex-wife, even though I was going to be taking my son, and it was just that time when I had to do a number of things at once, and that's just what I did. I've got $11,000 worth of equipment, so it wasn't hurting us to pawn something once in a while. And I wasn't going to call my family for money just for a few $100s.
You said that your family had left you quite a bit of money. Is it in a trust fund, or do you not have access to it whenever you want?
My cousin has control of that.
And you have to call. You don't get like a monthly installment or anything.
If I need some money, I would call her.
Okay.
And I usually wouldn't call her unless I needed money for the ministry, paying for books or helping to pay for CDs or just going around when we're playing or things like that, because there's not a lot of money to be made in it.
Right.
So it doesn't support itself very well.
Okay. And so, I mean, anything else? Anywhere else you go on a consistent basis in Austin? Do you have friends that live in Austin? Do you visit friends here?
No, I don't visit any friends in Austin. I visited churches when I dropped off CDs or something, just for trying to get our band to play there, like Bannockburn, or we have CDs up at Shoreline, in the Shoreline Christian Center store.
Where's that?
That's I don't know the exact street. I've only been up there once.
Just
So
what part of town?
it's by Mopec and
Is it north or south?
it's way north.
Okay.
Did they just build a new church up there?
I don't know. I don't go up
I
there
think it's
very
up at
often.
620.
But it's a big church,
Yeah.
and one of our board members of our church actually goes there.
Mm.
He was the one that suggested that I go up there, and they took some CDs. He gave me a tour around the place. It was a long time ago. So
What's the name of your band?
Broken Silence. Originally was Steadfast.
That's part of your book, isn't it?
The reason for the changing of the name when we changed it was, the reason for that particular name was because it was after the book.
Do you ever go up in the bee caves area?
No.
Do you even know where that is?
Mm, I don't believe I've ever been over wherever it's at. No.
No.
Never played.
Usually.
Have you go over there or to church or anything? Is there any reason why somebody might have seen your van over there?
Surely I don't have the only pewter Ford minivan in this entire town.
You have the only Peter Ford minivan in this entire town, or in the entire state of Texas, that has that license plate on it.
That's true. That is true. You know, my wife and I went into Walmart one time, and we went to pay for some groceries. She wrote a check. They said the check was denied. This was real recently, as a matter of fact. And so I said, no, that's something wrong. I'll write a check. I wrote a check out on my checkbook, same account, just different checkbook. She had the lower checks and I had higher checks. And it went through. They gave me the number. I called them up. They said, a person that was, they said that she had a bad check for 100 and, I don't know, it was 114 or 120, something like that. Dollars at a dollar store, Dollar General or whatever it's called in Bastrop.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave us a number to call. I called the number to find out how it is that we have a check there and we've never written a check for anywhere near that amount there. And they said, okay, well, you need to fax your driver's license over to us because her driver's license number was coming up on the thing. And we faxed the driver's license number, and this is all verifiable.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, well, the person on the license is not the same person that's on the check, but the license was the same. I know mistakes can happen. Okay, I'm not.
And
I
it
know
was
you-
checked out, and because you sent the license, they could look at it and say, this is not the same person.
Right.
Okay. In the case of this van, they didn't make a mistake on the license because the van was checked out and the van is the same van.
I'm just saying that her license was written down by somebody and they wrote the wrong number
Right.
down.
But if she had written the wrong number down, then on the license plate, then how did it happen
I'm
to
just
be the
saying-
same van?
I'm just saying, if someone wrote that number on my license plate down, and they're mistaken, because it's not me.
Okay.
Okay. This guy that's running around claiming to be wanting to buy a house. This man that looks incredibly like you, driving a van that similar to the one that you drive. He goes in and he always has a flyer that he's taken from the thing. Okay? And one of these flyers was left behind. Is there any reason why your fingerprints might be on one of those flyers?
My fingerprints are not on any flyer. I'm just telling you. My fingerprints are not on any flyers.
How about not particular, maybe not this day? How about a time before? Maybe possibly where your van was at in this part of West Austin. Would that be a coincidence too?
I would say that would be the most incredible coincidence I've ever heard, other than the stuff that's happening now.
Well, we can clear that up pretty quick. Have you ever handled a real estate flyer for a house for sale in West Austin?
No.
Okay. Then your fingerprint shouldn't be on there.
Correct.
And if they were, then that would be.
That would be wrong.
That would be bad.
It would be bad, yes.
Because there would be no other way for your fingerprint to be there other than you touched it, right?
I guess so. I don't know of any other way
isn't
to
that
be
right?
there.
Yeah. That's just another one of those coincidences, you know.
Well-
Coincidences and circumstances. Things are just not working out here. They're just not tying.
You're telling me things. I don't know that. So I don't know what you're doing. I'm just telling you I haven't done that. So I don't know, how come you guys feel so strongly about that. Coincidences happen. If they didn't, they wouldn't be called coincidences. But I'm telling you, I haven't touched any flyers that I have ever been in Austin looking at houses.
And that's fine. I mean, that's what we need to know.
Does anybody have your fingerprints?
Other than
Law enforcement.
Not that I know.
Fingerprints are not coincidental.
I understand that.
A fingerprint is a fingerprint, and it comes back to that finger that belongs to that one person. No other person in the universe has that same print.
Well, that's what they say.
No, that's what it is.
Well, I believe it is. I
Okay.
don't know that, but I believe it. Yes.
What do you believe in?
I believe in my Lord Jesus as my Savior. I believe that it's highly possible to make mistakes, because if they didn't, you wouldn't have people who've been in prison for 10 years and their cases turned over. I believe it's very possible for people to make mistakes. If they didn't, they wouldn't be human. I make mistakes. I'm not pretending not to make mistakes. I may say some things that may be off by a couple of minutes or a particular area frame or something, because I'm human. I don't sit there and take notes about my every second of every day. Certain things stand out, certain things don't. I'm sure of one thing, that I didn't murder anybody.
Tell me about your church is a particular denomination, a particular
Okay.
belief.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Uh-huh.
I don't mind sitting here talking with y'all, but I would at least like to call my wife before she leaves the phone that I can talk to her at. You can be there. I'm not going to talk about the case. I'm just let her know where I'm at, so she doesn't go up there trying to drop money off for me at another jail. She's planning on coming to visit me up there, and I would really like to talk to her and let her know, and then I'll finish talking if it'd be okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, no problem.
We can get a phone for you.
Now's as good a time as any. If you do have the number. I mean, you know the
Yes.
number. Yeah. I'll be back in a second.
Hi, it's me. Can you hear me okay? Well, that's because I'm down here in Austin now. That's okay. That means that they're down here talking to me and charging me with that crime. Well, yeah. Because they think there's too many coincidences. Just don't be worrying, okay? Please. All right? Well, it just happens to be that I have a van that looks like the person that, well, that's what they say, but, I don't know. all I care about is just getting this thing resolved. And it seems like every time I try to tell them something, they don't want to hear it. They want me to say something else, and I'm not going to. I'm at the Austin County Jail, not Del Valley, but downtown Austin. Yes. And I guess that's where their jail is. So I guess this is where you're going to have to drop me off some money. All right. And listen, okay? Take a deep breath, okay? All right. All right. You need to cry? It's okay. I mean, we got a lot to cry about, you know? But can I tell you something? Okay? Listen to what I'm going to tell you. All right? Calm down. Now I'm telling you, I'm innocent. Okay? All right, well, listen, okay? So I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what they may be telling me is true or not true. I'm not going to admit to any murder because I didn't commit any murder, period. I don't care what it looks like. And I know you believe in me, but you need to believe this is going to work out, because the truth, no matter what it looks like, the truth is going to come out, Janet. Okay? Now, you know, we're gonna make it through this. You hear me? We're gonna make it through this. We do need to go ahead and see about getting an attorney. Okay? Because I told him I'd talk to him, as long as I didn't feel I'm incriminating myself. Because I can see how easy they turn things around on me, because I've seen them do it already, and they're trying to make me think I've said something I didn't. I'm not stupid. Okay. Well, they read, let's put it this way, they read me my rights, that I was being arrested and charging me with this. That doesn't mean that they're not still investigating. It just means right now it seems that I'm their number one suspect, and with reason. I mean, I can understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, I know my innocence, so I'm not going to sit here and say I did something I didn't do. I'm only helpful so far, and then I'm not going to incriminate myself by saying something stupid because I don't know what I'm doing, to just make myself worse. I'll try to cooperate with them the best I can, but then that's the end of it. And you just need to trust God, okay, and see about getting an attorney, okay. I promise you, Janet, if it's true that, yeah, it's very rare that someone ever goes, if it's rare that someone goes to prison for something they haven't done, then this is all going to come out, okay? And it's going to be okay. All right? You just keep that focus, because that's what's going to happen. You gotta hang up?
Yeah. That's my phone, and I have to pay for that. So.
Okay. Well, I'll call you when I get to a cell, because I'm using her payphone right now, okay? But this is where I'm at. And I love you, and I'll call you later. Are you going to be at her house for a while? Well, if not, I'll ask her if she'll go get you, okay? And then I'll call you later, okay? All right. I love you. It's going to be okay. I love you. Bye. All right. It's okay. Bye.
I overheard you say that I'm not charging you with murder. You're not here under arrest for murder. I want you to understand that. You're under arrest for your parole violation. There is no murder charge on you, Tony.
Well, that's what I thought you guys were arresting me for.
No, we're transferring you from Bastrop Jail to Travis County Jail. You're not under arrest for murder. I don't know. I never said there.
Right,
Did you hear me say that you're under arrest for murder?
Like I said, I'm human. I thought that's what y'all were arresting me for.
You're not. You're already. The reason why we read your rights is because you're in custody for the parole violation, which is what we explained to you when you came in here.
And can I call her and tell her that I'm not in here for that?
Later, you can call her later.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want her sitting there crying like she's crying, thinking
I'll call her and tell her, okay? I'll call her and tell her.
I want her to know pretty soon if you
Okay.
can call her, because I don't want her sitting down there. She's already going through enough.
Yeah, she is. She's
Yeah,
going
she
through
is.
a lot. She was not in very good shape yesterday when we were talking.
She's not in good shape right now.
I can see why not. You know, we've been going back and forth, you know, having a decent conversation. You've been very upfront about what you believe and all that stuff. I think it's time we start concentrating on the facts of this case and figuring out where we're going to go from here. Okay? And I'm frankly, a little fed up with all this coincidence stuff. And, you know, it's not adding up. And you know it doesn't add up. And we know it doesn't add up.
I know it doesn't look good, but I'm telling you, I didn't murder anybody.
Okay, then you tell us why.
You say you didn't murder somebody. Maybe you didn't, okay? But you were in that neighborhood, Tony, and you talked to several people in that neighborhood. They said that you were there at their home, and it wasn't at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It was earlier than that.
And you've been in other places in Austin doing similar stuff.
No, sir.
With your van
And your fingerprint.
being written down. The license plate of that van was written down at another time. Not just this past time,
I'm telling
but
you.
another time.
I'm telling you that
And you told me yesterday that nobody else drives your van except for you
my wife.
and your wife. And it certainly wasn't your wife that was over at that house. You know what? Let me ask you something. We called Lake Jackson yesterday and we talked to several detectives who knew Patrick Russo really, really well.
There's also a judge over there that knows me very well too.
And you know, we had some very interesting conversations about some cases that you were involved in that you were never filed on for. And you know what those cases involved? Those cases involved you choking women, you tying women up and choking them. I find that very interesting.
Another one of those coincidences.
I suppose that's a coincidence. Is that not just a coincidence? And a lot of those cases you were never filed on for.
I had one charge for tying someone up, and that was a kidnapping
No,
charge.
no, sir.
Yes.
No, sir.
That's the charge. That's the formal charge.
That's what you got convicted
That's
for.
not all the other cases that they had.
They have multiple women over there that were choked by Patrick Russo, and they all picked you out. You admitted to the one that you knew you were busted on because you were picked out of that lineup.
I admitted to every single thing that I've been in trouble with.
You
Every
never
one
said
of them.
anything about choking any of those other women,
I got arrested.
tying them
for-
up.
I tied up one person when I had my nervous breakdown, and all I didn't even threaten the person. Okay,
But
well,
you just
then
wanted them to
because-
listen to you. Okay, we know all about that.
Yeah. I'm talking about the ones that you didn't talk about.
The ones that I lost my temper with.
I'm talking about the women that you did tie up and choke,
No,
but
that's
you
not.
didn't talk about.
I have not tied up anybody and choked anybody.
Really?
Now, I have assaulted a couple of people, and I have tied up
Women
one
or
person.
men?
They were women. That's
hmm
true.
And what did they do to you that you assaulted them?
I think that they didn't do a thing to deserve what they got.
What? That's ominous. That doesn't tell me anything. They didn't do what they deserved what they got. What did they do that sparked you to assault them?
They didn't do anything to spark me.
Why'd you do it?
Why'd you do it?
Because the time that I had those two incidences where I had an assault on two different women were when I was on drugs. And I was having a real short mood spans. I was,
That anger problem coming up again, right?
well, it could be both anger and drugs. I've never hurt anybody when I was not on drugs. I've never hurt anybody.
You were on drugs on the kidnapping deal too.
No, sir, I was not. And I didn't hurt that lady.
Did you tie her up?
Yes, sir, I
Did you
did.
threaten her?
No, I didn't. And that's in
Did
my,
you force her to stand there tied up listening to you?
as I was sitting there crying and telling her how I needed
You didn't think
something.
that hurt her?
I'm sure it hurt her Emotionally, yes.
Yeah, it probably did.
But you guys are talking about choking people.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about.
They have at least 5 cases.
They got a stack
of women who said, "Yeah, that's the guy that choked me."
Okay.
You know how they knew that? The nose. Just like all these other people said, the guy had a big nose.
No, I'm the only person in the world with a big nose.
No, but you know, they knew you down there as Patrick with the big nose. And all those women said he had a big nose. Picked you out. There's a stack of them. There's more than 5 victims over there, Patrick. You know? That's not a very big town. You know, everybody knew you. I didn't realize how famous you were in Lake Jackson. You know? You only told us that one because that's the one you got convicted on. There's multiple cases that they could have filed on you, and why they didn't, I don't know. And you know what? They were like, I can't believe he's out of jail. There's several women that said you tied them up. You tied their hands up.
Okay.
How about the one who came out of her bedroom when the other one was tied up, and then you had to tie her up too? We got a stack of them.
You know,
You got a reason for that one too.
I'm going to tell you this. First of all, you guys are twisting things up. Because
We're just repeating what they told us.
That's what they told
telling
us.
You need to read the police report. Don't listen to over talk from 10 years ago.
Mm.
Because it's real easy to start confusing things. You read my files and see what was said and written in those things, and then come talk to me about them. Now, you know, I understand that there's a pretty darn familiar thing here, but you know, the entire time I was locked up, how many people I've seen killed, and for all similar type of things. I'm not the only person in this world that's ever done something wrong.
I know, but we're not talking about everybody else.
I know that, and you're trying to make me say, yes, I've done something I didn't do, and I'm not going to do that.
All we're saying is what is in the record.
And I know what's in the record. I was convicted of this stuff. I know, and I've tried my best to put that stuff to the past.
Okay, so you're saying that's not true? You didn't do those things?
No, I didn't do what you guys are saying I did. You're trying to combine things
the first
together.
step in correct me if I'm wrong, maybe your religion is different than mine, but the first step in forgiveness is to admit that you've done something wrong.
I have.
To repent.
I have.
To at least be sorry for the things that you've done.
Okay. You know, I can see that you guys.
What would you say if I told you that your wife, Janet, told Detective Gilchrist that you choke her during sex? What would you say to that?
I would say that what I do in my sex life is nobody's business.
It may not be, but I think it's very pertinent to this case and what's happened here and what's happened in your past. You like to choke women. That's obvious. Why would you choke your wife during sex?
And if you don't, why would she tell us that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why would she tell
I'm going
us
to
that,
share this
Patrick?
with you guys. You guys, after my phone call, came in here and are instantly hostile. Why? I don't know. Okay.
Because we're fed up.
Well, you don't look at this is my life here. This is my life
it is.
that's on the line here.
Right.
Now, I didn't do anything to hurt anybody else's life, and yes, I have a reason to feel the way I feel.
Then you need to get right with what happened so that we can get past all this. Because, yeah, it's your life, but you're alive. There's a woman out there that's dead.
I understand.
And that's why we do what we do.
Okay, I understand that.
Okay, then let's quit all this crap about coincidences and no, I wasn't here, and no, I wasn't there, and get right. Admit to what you did, and maybe we can get to the forgiveness part. Because this is just crap. It's just bullshit, and you know it.
It's disgusting to sit here and listen to you talk about being such a devout Christian and forgiveness and how much you've turned your life around when this one coincidence after another, this whole thing goes back to similarities that I'm sure are coincidental back in 1989, 1990, 91, 92, you know? But you're this reborn Christian, and you're going to sit here and lie about it?
And you say you've admitted to all the things you've done in your past. Well, that's not true. You're not admitting to it. You're even in trying to admit to it, you're blaming somebody else. It's the drugs, or it's the police are telling us something that's not true because it's not really didn't really happen that way, or
You were going to tell me something about your sex thing, about why she would say that you choked
No,
her.
I
What was
wasn't
that
gonna
deal
say
was?
anything.
Well, what was that going to be about? Why would she tell us that you do that?
I think that you guys, I've tried to cooperate with you guys. Okay, you know, I don't.
You know what? You're not trying to cooperate. You're trying to snow us. You're trying to get over on us so that we'll think that you're this high and mighty religious whatever that is so much better than your past, that you've done all that, you're through with all that, and nothing happened. You're innocent. You couldn't have been anywhere that we said you were, when the facts, indisputable, concrete facts, say different. We don't just make this stuff up.
I'm not saying you made it up.
And you know what? Those people out there in North Austin, they don't know you have a record. They couldn't give a shit about Patrick Russo. They care about their own lives. They have their own families. And you came up there and you disrupted their lives and their families. And now everybody's in a panic.
I have not.
Well, why are they saying you did it? They couldn't give a shit who Patrick Russo is.
That's right. They don't care who.
They didn't know you were on parole. They don't know you from Joe Schmo that stands on the street corner who's a transient. So your wife is even saying that, well, I don't know how, he's on parole. You fed her that line forever, that the reason why you get picked you get picked out for things that happen around there is because of your unfortunate past.
This is the first time I've been picked up while on parole.
There's plenty of people around Travis County that we could have picked up, but it all came back to you, Patrick.
Because of my van.
That's right, and the license plate that's on your van, that is an undisputable fact. Flyers that were picked up and maybe left behind in a hurry because somebody got scared or whatever reason.
Just explain to us, or just admit that you were in Austin, in Southwest Austin, doing whatever, and that's why this witness saw you, saw your van, and wrote down your license plate number. Explain that to us. Maybe we can understand. Otherwise, everything else you're telling us is just bullshit. And I'm full up. I'm tired of it. I know that you're in a bad spot.
No.
But Janet can't fix it for you, even though you go get your story straight with her after we talk to both of you. Even though you call her.
I didn't get my story straight.
That's bullshit. Yesterday you told him specifically, this time. After you go home and talk to her, oh, well, I must have made a mistake. I don't remember all the times. It must have been something else. Whatever she told you is probably true. Yeah, because she doesn't lie. She's just been snowed by you so long that she can't see from the blinders that you're out here screwing up, going in people's houses, and yeah, you killed somebody, but you can't admit it.
Okay, I'm done talking now.
You're done. You're right.
I can't believe you guys.
You're awfully calm for a man who thinks
I'm
who thinks that we think he murdered somebody.
I'm calm.
Yeah, I think you're very calm.
I'll tell you what I am. I'm in a real big daze here because I can't believe this is happening in my life.
Well, you better believe it, and you knew it yesterday. You know exactly what's going on, Patrick.
I know what's going on. I can't help it if I can't believe what's happening. That's
well,
all.
you know what? We're going to prove that you did it. And it isn't going to be that hard. Because you're there. Everybody saw you there. You're just making it worse for yourself.
I did not kill anybody.
You're just making it worse for yourself. And you think about that God of yours.
You guys want
when you're lying.
No, you guys want to keep trying to throw that in my face because I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
That I'm supposed
well, you're
to
not
tell
being
you
very Christian
well,
by
you
lying.
want me to tell you what you want to hear.
No, I want you to tell the truth.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
You want me to tell you what you want me to tell you, not what I'm telling you. Because what I'm telling you don't want to hear.
Okay, Patrick. I didn't mean to yell at you. I'm getting frustrated, that's all. Because I believe that you are a Christian man. I believe you probably have turned your life around to some extent. But I believe it's possible that, you may be jammed up for money or something, and maybe that, you were up in those neighborhoods for a reason. The coincidence stories just aren't panning out for me.
Does he not have the flyer with the fingerprint?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there ain't no fingerprint on no flyer with my fingerprint on it.
Okay. So then how do you explain that?
I can't explain that. I can just tell you, I don't have any fingerprints on any flyers.
Okay.
I really want to get an attorney. I really want to get my attorney now.
Okay.
Because this is getting to a point where I can't compete with you guys.
It's not a competition.
It is a competition because I'm sitting here, my whole world's upside down. I understand that someone died here, but since I didn't do it, I don't think my whole life should be turned upside down, and my wife and my family should be put through this. I screwed up in my lifetime, and I paid for what I did. But I didn't murder anybody. I don't care what it looks like. I never murdered anybody.
Well, let me tell you what, Patrick, okay, before we go here in just a second. You say that you shouldn't be put through this, and your family and your wife and whatever. We didn't put him through this. You put him through this.
Why?
Keep that in mind.
How did I put him through
You know
this?
why. We know why. Everybody knows why. Okay? From there on in, we're not going to talk to you anymore. But we didn't put him through this.
This is
Yeah.
all on your shoulders now.
You're not a bad guy, Patrick. I don't believe you're a bad guy. I don't know you well enough to say, I hate you because you're a bad guy. I don't know you well enough to say, you know that Patrick, he's a butthole. I don't know you that well. I hate what happened, but it happened. We can't sit around and close our eyes and
I'm not
say that it
expecting
didn't,
you guys to do that. I don't expect anybody to do that.
And
if someone murders someone, that's not a good person. That's not, so,
Well, again, Patrick, it has nothing to do with being a good person or not. It has to do with, things happen. Things happen spur of the moment that you never, ever plan on. You never plan on stuff like that. But things happen. That doesn't make you a evil person. That doesn't make you a bad person. Things happen.
What makes you a good person is to be able to admit to it and take responsibility.
I can't admit to something I didn't do. You're going to just get more mad because I can't tell you I did something I didn't do.
Okay.
Well, that's fine. We're not going to talk to you anymore, Patrick. But just keep that in mind. We didn't do it. We're not doing this. And again, we don't think you're a bad guy. We think that what happened was bad.
You want to talk to someone that knows me better than you guys? Talk to one of your officers here that used to play bass for me.
I'm sure we will be talking to him. Don't worry about that. We'll be talking to everybody that ever knew you.
Call Judge Bob May, District Judge, out in Missouri, and ask him how well he knows me.
Okay.
How you doing, Mr. Russo? Go ahead and turn around, put your hands up on that wall. Okay. Bring your right hand back. Bring your left hand back. All right, circus, turn around. Let's go through this door. Pants are falling off. Oh, okay. Oh, good.
Patrick Tony Russo was found guilty of capital murder and sentenced to life in prison.